Hi, I'm Megan Alexander, and this is Middle East Tomorrow. 5 years ago, the U.S. brought leaders from Israel, Morocco, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain together to sign the Abraham Accords. That historic day ignited a cross-border movement of changemakers who are joining forces to reshape the region. Join me as I uncover the stories of the people transforming the Middle East today and tomorrow. Go to partners.foxnews.com/Met. 5 years ago, the U.S. brought leaders from Israel, Morocco, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain together to sign the Abraham Accords. I'm Megan Alexander, and this is Middle East Tomorrow. Go to partners.foxnews.com/Met.
Live from New York. It's a show that's on the fence about e-bikes, to be honest with you.
I like them, but I do not think they should be allowed to be used in bike lanes.
Well,
I think that's a good point.
They're going 30 miles an hour.
These bike lanes are dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, just the way I every day I turn into my garage to park, I have to watch out.
Well, yeah.
And people are honking at me like, you got the light, go. And I'm like, hold on, there's bikers coming. I'd run this dude over. It's dangerous.
We should all be on a bike team together.
I would crush that. You would be great at it too, don't get me wrong.
I'll stick to basketball.
You're not playing basketball. You haven't played basketball in years, you said.
I haven't biked in decades.
First hour, first things first. Today, Bill Belichick still not in the Hall of Fame. Why one person here thinks this hurts him and the Patriots dynasties.
Dynasties, plural, so you agree with me.
So shout out to you.
Yeah, thank
Meanwhile, Bucks are listening to offers. Is there a chance we see Giannis and Steph team up?
Nice.
I've been waiting for this.
I like
This is the
that.
All-Star game. And finally,
Can we see that every day on a regular
wonderful.
basis?
Most motivational segment in all of sports. It's the Bud List. Alongside Nick Wright, I'm Kevin Wilds. Brew, how was coming up with the Bud List last night?
It was interesting because obviously there's no NFL games this weekend except the Pro Bowl. So it was. I went basketball. I got some hoopers in there.
Excellent. Nice. Anybody
But
on the
still a
Buffalo
little
Bud
football.
List?
Who was? I can't remember who it was. There was a guy.
We're just O for life.
There was a guy
was
on the
somebody.
bubble.
We're just O for life.
You know what? It was a quarterback. It was a couple quarterbacks.
Oh, good.
C.J. Stroud and J.J.
Show
McCarthy.
started.
Okay. We're starting with the
I mean, you
fallout.
asked me
J.J.
a
McCarthy
question.
couldn't
Can I
make
take
the
a
show.
minute to get my thoughts together?
Fallout from Belichick's Hall of Fame shutout. Vahe Gregorian writing in the Kansas City Star that he hoped the voting system would change moving forward, but that he excluded Belichick because, quote, he felt duty-bound to vote for the richly deserving seniors who most likely won't ever have a hearing again. Belichick is inevitable soon. Brew, were you okay with this rationale?
No, 1,000 times no. All right? There's only one rationale, and a lot of people disagree with that.
Yeah.
And like I said yesterday, I would have voted for Belichick. But for people that will say or said in the meeting, I'm not going to make him first ballot because of Spygate and the cheating, I respect that because he did cheat. You know, some people could say, you know, you've heard coaches say everybody was doing it. Why is they're the only ones that lost the draft pick? Sure. They're the only ones that got fined. So for that, that's fine. There is no other plausible or rational reason for not putting Bill Belichick with 6 Super Bowl wins into the Hall of Fame. I guess here's the only case. If he were in a class and you could only pick 5 of them, and it was like Brady, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Montana, and Jim Brown, and Bill Belichick, and you had to leave one out, maybe you leave the coach out because you give the nod to the players. But outside of something crazy like that, there's no way. And here's the thing, too, because he wrote about L.C. Greenwood, Roger Craig, and Ken Anderson. All were great players in their day. He wrote that they were, in his mind, unequivocally belonged in Canton, in the Hall of Fame. That how?
Correct.
To be in the senior committee or a candidate on the senior committee, you had to be passed over for 20 years. 20 years. You're eligible after your 5th year of retirement. and then you're eligible to be elected up until your 25th year from retirement. Then if you're not in by then, you go to the senior committee. My thing would be, if you've been passed over 20 times, you were very good, but you're probably not a Hall of Fame. 20 times?
20 times seems like a lot.
So it doesn't hold water with me, his rationale. So no, it doesn't. I don't agree with it.
I don't want to dismiss the relevance or the importance of the senior committee and senior committee enshrinees, because there have been instances, most notably last year, where I did think the senior committee righted a wrong. I really liked, and I think you probably did too, that Sterling Sharp got in. I was like, you know what? I think so I am not going to act as if every single person that is passed over those 20 years, that means every single one of them doesn't deserve another look. But I agree with every single thing Chris Broussard said. And I like Vahe, and I know he takes this responsibility very seriously because he inherited it from the great writer Terez Paylor, who died suddenly and very young. He was the Kansas City-based voter. Vahe got it. So people are entitled to their opinions, and this is my opinion about his opinion. But this is the rationale I am least okay with. I am, because Hall of Fames are not about making people feel good.
Right.
Hall of Fames are not about, man, it would be so nice for his family. They're not. Because if they become that, then they lose the resonance they have for true blue Hall of Famers. And his rationale, and I went through the history of it, is correct in this regard. Everyone that's been a senior committee nominee and then not made it, they're done. Nobody has been a multi-time senior, like Eli Manning is
one time.
Now looks like he's going to be a multi-time finalist who doesn't make it. He'll be a finalist multiple times. Maybe will or won't make it. But in the regular course of events, guys become finalists, don't make it. They're finalists again the next year, they don't make it. Senior committee, that has not happened. That when guys have become finalists and not gotten over it, that really is the end for them, at least. So I understood his concern that any of these three guys that don't get in now, almost officially, will never get in. Well, that's okay with me. Because if you were not holding Belichick out due to what you thought was a penalty for the cheating, he has to get one of those spots. And I'm big on, unintended consequences and knock-on effects. Here's the other thing we now know. When we're talking about people deserving to get in, not deserving to get in, under the current system, KW, there is only one coach finalist a year. Mm-hmm. So if you are Mike Shanahan or Tom Coughlin, or if Mike Tomlin makes it clear, like, no, I'm really done coaching, or Mike Holmgren or whomever people think maybe have
they're getting pushed.
Well, I feel like we know with certainty next year's coaching finalist will be Bill Belichick. And so all those guys now wait an additional year if they do at some point get in. Hall of Fames are supposed to be hard to get into.
Yeah.
And so this is the rationale that rubbed me the most wrong of all the possible rationales, unless someone's like, you know what? I didn't like him. That would be outrageous. If it was just, I didn't care about the cheating. He deserved to get in, but I thought he was rude to reporters. But I don't think anybody's going to have that rationale.
But Vahe didn't necessarily know that he wasn't getting in. That's why I'm moderate. I really want Bill Belichick in, obviously, but I was okay reading his rationale. I wonder if it would change where it's like, hey, you're the deciding vote.
But
I would hope so. I've always said that because we know only Mariano Rivera he's the only unanimous guy in the Major League Baseball, right? Mm-hmm. And so obviously, and that was just a few years ago, obviously when it came to Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, whoever, someone said, nobody's ever 100% in baseball, so I'm not going to vote for him.
Yes.
What if several people did that? I've always thought, what if too many people did that, thinking of course he's going to get in, and then he doesn't? That's ridiculous. So you can't have that approach. It should just be, is he a Hall of Famer or not?
I mean, listen, there is an argument that should be made, that could be made, that the way to ensure people vote who they truly believe the class should be is if you add 50 voters, you all write down 3 names, and we're not counting the votes. We're picking one of these ballots at random. I'm not advocating for that. But what I'm saying is there are a lot of ways people try to, kind of work around the system here, because what you're implying there is that Vahe or anyone who did, and I don't want to pick on him because he actually, put his name to it and did what we asked people to do. I assume there were other people that might have had the same rationale, right? Mm-hmm. Did those people vote for the 3 people they actually wanted to be in, or did they want to not have any culpability for any of those 3 not getting in? Because the other thing about this that I hope people understand, and this is just the math of it, there are 50 voters. They all submit 3 names. So there are 150 total names. If you need 40 votes to get in, if everyone gets the minimum needed, that's 120, which ensures 3 maximum ever can get in, just mathematically, with this process. So when you vote for those 3, what that should be saying is, these are the 3 that I think should be in this year. And it didn't feel like that's necessarily the case in this circumstance, which is why I didn't love this rationale. He
also said Belichick will be there next year or something to that effect. So that would make you think he thought, he may not get in. But that, to me, though, that rationale of Belichick will be here next year, it goes against what you were saying. Like he's thinking, he's probably getting in anyway. Yeah. His thinking was he's going to be here next year. I can vote for him then. That means you don't understand. I feel like you don't understand the importance of a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like that means something. Yeah. I get it. They're all Hall of Famers, but all the people that are ranting and raving about and upset about Belichick, none of them think, I don't believe, he's not going to ever get in the Hall of Fame. They're just saying, how in the world is he not a first ballot Hall of Famer? So to have a voter who thinks, there's really no difference between first ballot and third ballot or second, or whatever, I would question your understanding of the importance of it.
Just quick pop quiz. Answer in 3 seconds. Where's your favorite place to go on vacation?
Italy.
Okay, that's it. That's the real answer. His favorite place to go on vacation is Italy. If I was like, hey, I want you to come up with a solution tomorrow. I'm going to ask you what's your favorite place to go on vacation. You're like, man, I like Italy. I do like Vegas. Gee whiz.
Vegas. I want to retract
we went to Australia. No, actually, like that. No, you're actually right.
I was trying
There's
to sound
a point where everybody is overthinking this. Bill Belichick's there, done. Bill Belichick. Okay, what? I'm moving on with my day.
Well, that is.
If you're doing all this stuff, it's almost like replay. Look at it. Was that a catch? I got 5 seconds.
That was a catch. Say.
I don't disagree.
If you're not automatically a Hall of Famer in your mind, you're never. Then there would be no senior committee. I get what you said about Sterling Sharp, but for the most part, you've been overlooked 20 years.
Well, that is.
It's not for everybody.
Josh, right. It's not for everybody.
You're a very good player.
And Josh fact-checked me on if I have the person right. But there is a famous story about, because, everyone has their own presenter. Like there is one person in charge of, John McClain from the Houston Chronicle would present for Andre Johnson every year, like advocate for him. And I believe the player in this story is Jim Brown. That Jim Brown's presenter for the Hall of Fame got up, said, Jim Brown, and sat back down.
That's awesome.
And I'm pretty sure and it was that everyone knew he's in. I don't have to make a case for it. For Belichick, that obviously is the case, barring these odd other things that I thought it had to just be the cheating scandals, and now evidently there's another rationale which does feel weird to me.
All right, Cardinals and Raiders still looking for a head coach hire. Looking to hit a home run like the following guys. Bill Barnwell made a list of the top 5. Well, actually, he listed more than 5, but we're only going to talk about the top 5. Best recent head coach hires. His list goes like this: Dan Campbell at 1, Sirianni with his 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win at 2, McDonald, Vrabel, DeMeco Ryans, Sean Payton, Kevin O'Connell, Ben Johnson, Harbaugh, and Dan Quinn. Rounding out the top 10. Do you have any issues with this list? Like it, love it?
Oh, I have one major issue, but first I would like to say this, because what he did was he listed every single hire the previous 5 cycles, and there were 37. 37 hires, 21 through 25. And just for everyone that is super optimistic about their brand new head coach, just for some context there, Bill Barnwell, who I think is really, really sharp, has Robert Saleh as the 14th best hire. There are 23 hires worse than that. Had Brian J.
With the Jets?
Yeah,
that's what
so he's blaming it all on the Jets organization.
No. What I'm saying is we forget how many disaster hires there were. Brian Dable was an above-average hire for the Giants over the last 5 years from Barnwell's list, because you forget, you're like, wait, the Raiders have had 3 head coaches. There were 10 hires worse than Gerard Mayo, who was 1 and done with the Pats. So there's just so many more unsuccessful hires than successful hires. Just a level set. But my issue is with what used to be Wilds' guy, but I think Wilds has foisted him on Brew, and I think Brew unwittingly has maybe accepted it. Nick Sirianni being number 2. Because I would definitively rather have and think better hires were. Dan Campbell was ahead of him. I like Mike Vrabel. I think that's working out.
Sure.
I like Mike McDonald. I think that's working out. DeMeco, Sean Payton, Ben Johnson, Jim Harbaugh. And I will, in my heart of hearts, I would say Liam Cohen and Kevin O'Connell. But there is, Kevin O'Connell's been there and hasn't won playoff games, and Liam Cohen, the resume is so thin, I won't do it. But those other 8 guys are better hires. And I think their team's happier with them. Their ownership's happier with them. Their players might be happier with them. I think Nick Sirianni, and even in his write-up for it, he's like, this is a tough one because he has won a Super Bowl, and he also seems to be reviled in corners of his own fan base and maybe organization. So I do not think Nick Sirianni is the second best coaching hire of the last 5 years. I don't think.
Look, I agree with you in the 8 guys you named, Campbell, Jim Harbaugh, so on and so forth, Sean Payton. I feel like those guys are all better coaches than Sirianni. I feel that way. And if I were starting a team, I'd look at them before him. But that's subjective. That's subjective. Objectively speaking,
there you go.
Sirianni there's one thing. I'll give you 2. 2 things that determine whether or not a coach is good. 2 objective things. 1, he wins. If I have a team full of all-stars and I roll out the ball and they win, guess what? I'm a great coach. Because some coaches would overcoach them. No, LeBron, get over here. Pass the ball. No, let them play. They're good enough. They're coaches that overcoach, all right, and get in the way of talent. All right, so number 1, he does win. Here, look at this graphic. Best win percentage.
I told you. Let him have him.
In the super. But no, look at this, though.
I know.
He's 3rd. He's ahead of Belichick and Andy Reid and Bill Parcells and all these other great coaches, okay? So he has one. There's another one, too. Only a handful of coaches have ever made the playoffs their first 5 seasons. He's one of them. There's 5. I mean, and here's the thing. They were 4-11-1 the year before he got there. And you can scoff at it, but in that first year.
But 2 years before they won the Super Bowl.
So what? Okay, that coach got fired, and they didn't have Saquon Barkley.
No, you're right.
They didn't have A.J. Brown. Jalen Hurts most people thought he's not a franchise quarterback.
Yes.
So the second thing I was going to say, player development. You win first, but you also develop players. Saquon Barkley had his best season under who? He didn't get anywhere near 2,000 yards without Sirianni. A.J. Brown, for all the scoffing, he's had his 3 best seasons under who? And he played 3 years in Tennessee. 3 best seasons under Sirianni. You know, and there's other ones. Jalen Hurts, he developed him. Zach Bond was not viewed as anything.
Not Vic Fangio credit for Zach Bond.
Who's the head coach?
But Vic Fangio
Yes, of course,
him.
the defensive coordinators, the offensive coordinators get some credit, but the head coach gets the blame and he gets the credit. So I get you might not like, as you would say, the cut of his jib, all right? But the dude wins. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Philadelphia as a franchise had been to 2 Super Bowls in the 40 years before Sirianni. He went to 2 in his first 4 years.
So can I?
They had won 1 Super Bowl in 54 years before Sirianni. He won 1 in year 4. I'm just saying, I want a coach that wins. I don't care if I think he's, subjectively, he does this, he does that. Dan Campbell just missed the playoffs.
Can I just ask one quick question, just in general?
Very good.
Do we agree, for the most part, the 4 most important people with an organization, not in order, just the foremost, are the owner, the general manager, the head coach, and the quarterback? That as far as individuals, those people have the most impact for a football team's success. Is it not possible that there are some incredibly successful organizations that one of those in one of those positions that guy is coasting off the others? That's my question. That is, if the Eagles have great ownership that spins in a way no one else really does, a GM that has been excellent and has won a Super Bowl without Sirianni, a quarterback who you adore and talks about all of the intangible things he's done, and he had those qualities in college. Like, does an organization being great mean they automatically have great coach, quarterback, GM, and owner? Or in some instances, is one of those guys coasting off the others?
How's he coasting when they won 4 games before he got there? With the same GM, same quarterback, same owner.
Because he
was the difference.
So that's where you focus on the 1 year before he got there as opposed to the 3 years before he got there. They had a down season, but that was a team that was good enough to win a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback 2 years prior, and the year before that won a playoff game with a backup quarterback. So it wasn't like a woebegone organization. It was a pretty well-run, tight organization that had recently won a Super Bowl and then had a disaster year, which I'm not saying he doesn't deserve any credit for that, but like, you understand what I mean? Like, is every owner, GM, head coach, and quarterback of every great team great? Or do some of them have somebody in the mix there that's not great, but he's right place, right time?
But every reason you think he's not great, it's the same for me. If I have questions about him, it's subjective. There's what is the objective view? Do you win? Do you develop players?
You know, it's not like we've seen coaches make errors in personnel. We've seen him make
Payton just this weekend.
Yeah, timeout errors.
Yeah, I don't think he's
errors.
great at game management.
He's not bad. He's lost games for them. I'm like, hey, you did this wrong.
I think absolutely some of the stuff, and I think that
we've seen that with
of course.
But
I've seen him covered in Gatorade too. It's hard to argue.
I saw Doug Peterson covered in Gatorade for the same franchise. For the same franchise.
I'm not sure Peterson's not a good coach. But
a lot of Super Bowl coaches get fired eventually. Everyone's getting fired eventually.
Doug Peterson got fired 2 years after winning a Super Bowl for the same franchise. Nick Sirianni is going to get fired 2 years after winning the Super Bowl. They can't fill their offensive coordinator spot. Here's the thing. We can argue all this. There is not a person alive who would rather have Nick Sirianni than DeMeco Ryans or Sean Payton or Mike McDonald or Mike Vrabel. Even you guys.
The owner reportedly likes Sirianni. Lurie.
I feel very confident that
my issue is this, and it comes down. This is a lot of like the challenge of like when I talk about Sam Darnold. What do you want him to do? Like if you're like, man, Nick, if he called you, he came in, he's like, Nick, I heard your criticism of me. Yeah, what do you want me to do? Because I've gone to 2 Super Bowls, I've made the playoffs. What do you think I should do?
So I think that the answer there's multi-layered. One is figure out why every other year your team is in some every other year
In the playoffs?
No, some bizarre.
What was bizarre this year?
Brew.
This year, what was bizarre? They had the supernatural funk a few years ago. What was bizarre
You
this
think
year?
everything with Philly this year was normal?
I think A.J. Brown, you got a receiver, a diva wide receiver, which a lot of teams have, that runs his mouth. Outside of that, what was the issue?
I mean, he's an offensive-minded coach with the most expensive offense in the history of the NFL who went 3 and out more than any team in the league.
Just because it's expensive doesn't mean anything.
I don't know. We think the players are good. I think the players are good. I think they woefully underachieved offensively this year. I didn't even think that was in dispute.
I mean, that's not.
I think that's fair, but there's I saw a lot of other great teams not make the playoffs.
Well, yeah, Dan Campbell. Why didn't they make the playoffs?
And I think there is, again.
He got great players.
But so this is.
I'm just saying, I want something objective.
But this is right. I understand there are objective ways we can measure guys, but we are here giving our opinion. And I think, and what's frustrating on this side of the table right now is, I think everything I'm saying here is an opinion you guys actually share. That those 7 coaches I listed, you also would rather have coach your team. That those 7 guys I listed, for reasons maybe you can't quite define why you think DeMeco Ryans is a better pro football coach than Nick Sirianni, but you agree with me. And so
I'd rather have a guy that wins.
So Brew, if the Ravens this offseason, if Sirianni and DeMeco were both available, you would have been on here saying, I hope they hire Nick Sirianni over DeMeco Ryans. I don't think that.
But again, that still is subjective.
Yes, it's my subjective opinion.
Okay, but I'm saying, I'm being objective and saying he wins. I know some of the things you don't like about him are that he yells at the fans, after a big win.
But I think that's
whatever. Buddy Ryan was a person. There's a lot of coaches that have these outgoing, crazy personalities, but if they win, they win.
So, yes, he has won. He has won.
And it hasn't been handed to him. When he took over, they were like a 9th best rushing offense in the league. He took them immediately his first year to the number 1 rushing offense in the league without Saquon Barkley, with Miles Sanders and guys like that. Like, I hear what you're saying, and I agree that I like all those guys better,
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're better coaches. I can't say Sirianni wasn't a great hire for Philadelphia when he took them from 4 wins to 2 Super Bowl appearances.
It has been an objectively successful hire. I also think there were 8 or 9 names on that list who are better coaches. Doesn't even mean they would have been better in Philadelphia. I just think they're better coaches, and I also think that Philadelphia right now feels some type of way about him, and there's a reason.
Bo Nix not super happy with Sean Payton talking about his ankle surgeries. That's next on First Things First and Fox Sports Radio on Sirius XM.
Oh, it's such a clutch offseason pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some from my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Shop up to 40% off site-wide, plus an extra 10% off every order and a free professional measure happening right now at Blinds.com.
Podcast has been cooking. We are at 4.7 million views till we get to 1 billion views. We are also on the hunt for famous celebrities to say thank you for 1 billion views. Hubs is reaching out to Mr. Beast himself. And I'm, again, putting out an offer to Cardi to come on and talk about Stephon Diggs and just the case.
See who's not here right now?
Gianna?
Yeah, you know why?
No.
Handing out resumes. We're off track. We're off pace.
We're not off pace.
I'm so.
I was
do
gonna
the
say,
math.
it looks
Afternoon headlines sponsored by
slowed.
It looks
the
like
U.S.
it's slowed.
Army. Be all you can be. Bo Nix had surgery on his ankle, and we got an update, maybe too much of an update from Sean Payton, who said, Bo breaking his ankle was not a matter of if, but when. And Bo didn't appreciate his coach's candor. Take a listen.
Nothing predisposed, nothing that was there originally. I might have gotten confused, but it's just a simple step with my foot up in the air. My body weight came down on it. sort of got twisted up and was just one of those missteps. And didn't have any predisposed issues. Man, my ankles were feeling really good. I don't think he really should share how many surgeries I've had in the past, to be honest with you, because he doesn't really even know that.
Kind of strange.
Listen, I know I'm the wrong messenger for this. No one in the media was more wrong about the Broncos this year than me, and I have been a unintentional Denver sports pessimist dating back to it being the last one on the Jokic train. So I get nobody wants to hear this from me, but this is a weird 96 hours from a team that had, by any objective measure, a wildly successful season that ended when it did. One of the only ways you can lose a home conference championship game, and if you handle the PR right, nobody's mad at anybody.
Yeah.
Got unlucky. What do you want us to? Our quarterback broke his ankle on the second to last play of the divisional round game, and we were right there. And you know what? If not for a snowstorm and a tipped field goal, might have stolen it. Instead, Sean Payton fired 3 coaches, including his offensive coordinator, who attributes his firing to, and I quote, Sean was in one of his moods.
That was strange.
And then Bo Nix calls his own press conference. The team didn't set this up. Bo Nix calls his own press conference to correct what he considers misinformation, not from the dark web or AI or bots, but from his head coach. That ain't great. And so it's not nothing that all of a sudden it really sounds like Sean, the quarterback of the Broncos is upset with the head coach of the Broncos. That's something, and it's something weird.
Yeah, it's definitely something. And it's strange because typically from the top down, meaning, you know, execs, coaches to the players, it's need-to-know basis.
Yeah.
Not I'm going to offer just information just because I want to fill you guys in on all the nuts and bolts and the crannies of it all. No, that's not how it works. So I understand, and I'm with Bo on trying to defend this idea of there was something lingering or
It was a ticking time bomb.
Like, no, because that almost insinuates to a player who, number one, during the process of going to Indy, going through the entire combine process, all of this is knowledge to every team. They have all this information on your medical history. So you're trying to defeat the odds of this idea of, are you injury prone? Do you always have issues with your ankles? Like, do you think there's going to be something moving? He was probably asked this stuff every day in Indy. And then to have your head coach offer all this information when you as a head coach typically tell us as players, specifically don't speak on anybody else's injury. Don't speak on anybody. Even if you feel like you have an idea, let that be up to the training staff and or that specific player. Bo, he mentioned he's upstairs, he's doing good. Leave it at that. He had the injury, he's recovering, he wants to be here for off-season program. That's all we care about. Like, period. He's in a position where he's trying to defend himself because he knows contracts coming up.
Yes.
I don't want to be labeled as somebody that is an injury risk.
Correct.
So, but you as my head coach, you're putting this out there as if this is possibly something that I'm going to have to be concerned about, and everyone should know that just in case. I mean, this is something that we're going to be circling moving forward. It's unfair to Bo.
I'm glad you mentioned contract because that's kind of one of the only explanations for Sean Payton saying this. I mean, you said it. Usually you're not giving out this type of information. Now, I do think he's correct. Bo has had several ankle injuries and surgeries. He had surgery after last season. He broke his ankle in college. He broke it in high school. He had surgery after last season when he didn't really get injured. This year, obviously, injury and surgery. But to me, the only reason for Payton to put that out there is almost to be like, to lower his value. Not that they don't want to keep him, but to lower his market value. So let's say when it's time to re-up him, they don't want to give him $50 million or $60 million.
That was going through Sean Payton's head?
I don't understand. I can't think of another reason. It's bizarre, but I can't think of another reason a coach would say this unless you want to lower.
Because Sean Payton likes to talk. He likes to hear himself.
He likes to talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
He does.
I'm with Greg in that. I don't understand why you would say that. I think he's right, but you don't even need to give out that information.
And Knicks, by the way, is not even allowed to get a contract for another year.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Right,
And I know you know that, just for the audience. It is, and if you even remember, Sean Payton, when he did the impromptu press conference after the divisional round game and told everyone, held the second press conference about Bo's ankle being broken, he said, like as an aside, he's like, yeah, Bo mentioned to me. He's like, oh, that's the one I've had surgeries on. And I said to him, oh, man, I wish you'd have told me that. I wouldn't have drafted you. And we laughed. Like, Sean Payton's weird about the stuff he says publicly and on the record. Yeah. It's just weird. It sounds. He is out of the mainstream from how other head coaches do it. And this is a story only because he pissed his quarterback off.
Yeah.
The only way to read it is the quarterback's upset.
You know, I've got a take that you're going to hear tomorrow. You're now entering the No Bull Zone, sponsored by Credible. Great rates, none of the bull. Patriots didn't practice yesterday, and they said if they did, Drake Maye wouldn't have been a full go. This is video from today. He's got a football in his hand. Is he going to throw it? Nope. The media didn't see him throw a pass, but this has become a bit of a story, although Mike Vrabel says that he doesn't have much of a concern at all. Is that the official? I want to get it right, Hubs. He says he's not concerned at all. Stand by. No concern.
No concern.
Okay. That being said, do you think the Patriots can beat the Seahawks if he's not 100%? Although we don't know if he's not going to be 100%. He might be 100%.
I'll never say never. We've seen strange things happen in the Super Bowl. I would not have thought Nick Foles would beat Tom Brady, or Eli Manning would beat Tom Brady twice, or a first-year starter Tom Brady would beat Kurt Warner. So the Super Bowl, you don't know.
Seems like maybe we just don't know Super Bowls involving Tom Brady. All
But I think the chances are very slim that they could beat Seattle without Drake Maye at his best, because I think he's going to need to play really well. I think they're going to have to put up points. I get they've only allowed about 9 points a game in the playoffs, but those were mediocre to the Chargers, really a relatively poor offense, by their numbers, 21 points a game. Seattle's third highest scoring team in the league, 28 a game, and in the playoffs, they've averaged 36 against two playoff teams. So I think that Seattle, I'm not saying they're going to light the Patriots defense up, but they're going to put some points on the board. And so Drake is going to have to produce some points and be close to his best for them to win.
So he can not be 100%, but he can't not play good to great football.
Correct.
I don't care if he's not 100%. What matters is how you look when you're not 100%. Now we can if it was his shoulder that has caused him to have the dip in performance in the postseason, we dismiss it, especially last week because of the weather. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know what? That was a sloppy game, muddy game, snowy game. You're going to run the ball anyway. We don't really want you throwing the ball. Okay, we'll throw that out. In this game, to your point, this Seattle team can put up points. If we don't see a resemblance of Drake Maye that we've seen be able to counterpunch by getting the ball down the field, being accurate with the ball, then we're going to start to really question, man, his shoulder really must be injured. So can they win with him not being 100%? Yes. He just has to be good. Brett told me this when I first got into the National Football League. If you're a great player and you get injured, it's best to have you on the field and available if and only if your 80% is better than most people's 100%. If that's what we get out of, if that's what we see out of Drake Maye, they'll be fine.
Yes, I'm going to echo what Greg said, maybe slightly differently. I do not think the Patriots can win this game without an A- or better Drake Maye game.
Oh.
So
why? You think you are that confident in Seattle's offense?
Oh, I think Seattle is the best team in the NFL. All year long, I was saying it was the Rams, and I thought the Rams, were this close. But they beat the Rams twice. They beat them, fair and square. And Seattle's resume was more impressive than the Rams by a tick. And so I think Seattle is considerably better than any of the teams you guys have played up to this point in the playoffs. And I think you guys have not been yourselves up to this point in the playoffs because you have a quarterback who all year long was a top 2 MVP candidate on the merits, who has not played well. And who really gives a damn he hasn't played well? You're in the Super Bowl.
Correct.
But I do not see any scenario where Drake Maye plays the type of game he has played the first 3 rounds, and you guys beat this Seahawks team on a neutral field. That I don't think that is realistic, especially now that I've kind of removed Darnold going full pumpkin from the possibilities. Like, it would have been possible if I'm like that Darnold's going to go do what CJ did against you guys, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you think the Seahawks are scoring over 20 points?
Over 20?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
I do not.
You have the Seahawks scoring under 20?
Yes.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, trade deadline is a week from today. A deal for Giannis may come to a head soon. Shams made a list of serious suitors. Shams' list of serious suitors. The Heat, the Timberwolves, the Knicks, and the Warriors. Oh, my. Drew, your thoughts?
Well, look, I don't want to see him in Miami. It would deplete their team too much. I don't think they'd be that.
They'd be Milwaukee South.
Right.
Miami's out.
Right.
Yeah.
Minnesota would be fun and interesting, him and Anthony Edwards, but I don't think they have the assets to get. Now, in fairness, all these teams are probably it's going to have to be a 3, maybe 4 team deal
The
to
Warriors
get the picks. You could, right, but I just think now the Warriors do have draft assets too. But the players, Draymond or Jimmy, who's hurt, and Kuminga, I don't think that's enough.
Minnesota flatly has no picks.
Yeah, So they got to get a third team with the picks. The Knicks and Golden State, either one of them would be a lot of fun. I think, though, as fun as it would be to see Steph and Giannis together, I'm not sure they'd have enough. I could be wrong to win the West, though. That'd be a tough chore, but I'd love to see it. But Nick, I think New York is, and again, they have to get a third team, an Oklahoma City, a Portland that has a lot of draft capital and stuff. But I think New York, this, of all the times, LeBron is a free agent and all these, every time some superstar is a free agent, he's coming to New York. And this is the most realistic. I mean, they did get Carmelo, but this is like, he wants to come here. They've got a team that can compete for a championship, particularly with him. They just got to go out and make the deal. And so you got to get a third team that has the picks. But I would like to see him, I think, Nick, in New York.
Listen, I would love to see him in New York. I do not think it is feasible because they simply don't have picks to trade. I understand the idea of getting a third team, but again, now we need to find a team that wants Karl Anthony Towns and wants to give you a bunch of picks for him. And so, like, the Thunder have no interest. Right, now we need so it's really hard, right? Yeah. The Warriors is not hard. The Warriors is Jimmy Butler and Kuminga for Giannis, and I think you have to include Kuzma for the money, but it's really. Now
you're saying Butler. You would, if you were the Warriors, would you prefer to give up Butler or Draymond?
Butler, because he's out, and because we're trying to win right now, and then the Warriors would say the only way the Bucks would be interested in that at all is because the Warriors can trade all their picks. They can give them 4 firsts and 3 swaps. You can just be like, future, who gives a damn about anything post-Steph? So we'll give you the 26, 28, 30, and 32 firsts, which we understand the Warriors' picks in the short term are not that attractive because they have Giannis and they have Steph, but
you got to go for it.
I'm saying for the Bucks side of it, like those aren't great picks, but the down the road ones could be excellent picks, and you go for it. I tend to agree with you, Brew, that I don't think if that trade happened, I'd come on here and be like, I'm even necessarily picking the Warriors to make the conference finals, much less the NBA finals, but I believe in going for it. I talked about Atlanta, Houston, and the Spurs yesterday. Atlanta, I don't know that they would become the favorites. It would be more of a build thing. Houston and the Spurs and the trades that I talked about are the Spurs could trade a bunch of picks they have from other teams, plus Vassell and Barnes, and keep Wemby, obviously, and their young guards. Yeah. And then I think they might be the favorites. I think they would.
If they
be the favorites.
They kept Harper, Fox, and Castle, and Wemby, and oh my God.
I don't know. For Houston, does Steven Adams being out for the year make you more or less likely to make a deal like this? I don't know the answer to that.
My answer is, if I were in their shoes, because yesterday I said if I'm Houston, I wouldn't. Now with Adams out, as I've thought about it, I think I would. Because I don't think they have a chance to get out of the West this year. They're really good. But I don't think without, like, one of their big advantages or their game plans with Steven Adams was we can pound these teams with our size and on the glass. Now without Adams, you can't do that. So I think I would be willing to give up Şengün and other pieces to get Giannis. The thing is, if I'm Milwaukee, Nick, I want Reed, Shepherd with Şengün because I want young players. So young potential stars. Reed, Shepherd, and Şengün, I'm really pushing hard for that if I'm Milwaukee.
So there's one other team that I have not mentioned yet, but I'm just curious, take your guys' temperature on, because I don't believe NBA stars need to go to big markets. I think they need to go to teams that are going to play deep into the playoffs. I don't think it hurts I understand the platonic ideal of being in LA or New York, but the bad thing for the NBA regarding to Giannis is not that he's in Milwaukee. It's that they're not in the playoffs late in the
LeBron was huge in
Cleveland. Right. What about Detroit?
Oh.
Detroit, who you have the Tobias Harris contract, so that makes a lot of things easy because now you have Tobias Harris contract, Asar Thompson is the young player. They have all their picks, so they can, trade a bunch of picks if they want to go for it and say right now we're going for it. That to me is they might be the favorites already in the East, Bruce.
I would think they're my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, they're 6 games up on the 2 seed right now, and that would feel like a sturdier team once the East is back at full strength. You know what I mean? Once Tatum's back, whenever that is, once Halliburton's back in a year, once the East is back.
Just haven't seen any flirtations between Giannis and the Pistons. Maybe I haven't been watching closely.
I haven't seen it either, but I don't.
A lot with New York and a lot with Steph.
Look, Giannis is great, obviously. Any team would love to have him. I don't know how great a fit that is. Because, one, they already lack shooting. So now you lack even more shooting with Giannis out there. And Cade has Giannis likes to have the ball in his hands. Cade has it in his hands. Neither one of them is an outside shooter. So it just would be a tough adjustment. But, look, if they pulled it off, I'm like, hey, those are great guys. Make it work. But
where do you want them to go, KW?
Warriors. I just feel like we've been heading down that train.
It would be exciting.
That track for a long time. And it's really, I think that Steph deserves one more shot at it.
I agree, and they thought they were doing that with Jimmy.
Did they? I mean.
Well, and the interesting thing is if Jimmy were to get back next year at some point, now if you kept him, I'm an advocate of putting Draymond in the trade instead of Jimmy. Because I don't think you need Draymond.
But doesn't that throw away this year, Brew?
No, I mean, I think
Jimmy's out. Sorry.
I just don't think with Draymond's like a far lesser version of Giannis. He handles the ball, he can pass, he's a great defender, but he can't shoot. I got Giannis that can't shoot. I know you got other shooters.
No, I get it, but what I'm saying, like, if you trade Draymond and Kuminga, and Jimmy's out for the year, you have Steph, Giannis, and Pods, the lacrosse kid, and and so like
I hear that.
I don't think that's maybe
with
with Draymond
Draymond
it might not be enough, but at least you have another sturdy NBA player.
Coming up next, it's the most motivational segment in all of sports, the Bud List. Which Super Bowl QB is under duress? Certainly not Drake Maye and his
Super Bowl QB
hurt shoulder. Live from New York, the show that is torn on Jackson Hayes in the dunk contest. Granted, he is my guy, and he did pull off a East Bay dunk in a game. That being said,
who else is in it? Do we know yet?
No.
But we know
Carter Bryant.
Oh, really? Okay. I wouldn't mind seeing McClung in it again.
No.
He doesn't.
I mean, shout out
you
to
wouldn't
Matt.
want to see him again? He's pigeonholed. He feels like he's pigeonholed.
I think it would be bad for him to be in the dunk.
Well, that's what he feels, apparently, because he's pulled himself out. But he was a great dunker.
He is fantastic.
Lean in.
Well, he won it twice.
What about Cohen
He won
Carr?
3.
Ooh.
Well, he's in
If
college.
guys who get drafted can now go and play college basketball, why don't we have a college player come do the NBA slam dunk contest?
No.
You know who should do it?
Come on,
It would be
you're just
great
mad you
for-
didn't come up with it. You're allowed to just be like, great idea, Nick.
Because then it was like, just let's get the best dunkers. And then
You want Mac McClung? He's not in the league either.
give him a 10-day. The same thing they've done the last 3 years. Give him a 10-day.
Zion.
Well, yeah. Look,
Zion should do it.
He should. Ja.
Yes, it's like
You could
rehab.
have a great
Get
one if
the
guys
right
would be in
people to
it.
sit courtside. Zion will do it.
Hubs just got in my ear and said skinny Luka because he can dunk now.
But
Today, Patriots dynasty. Is it tainted by Belichick's Hall of Fame snub?
Wow.
One person here has that bold claim. Meanwhile, can Sam Darnold silence his doubters forever if he wins the Super Bowl? The answer to that is no.
yeah, yes.
No, because you guys are still dissing Jalen Hurts. Even I had to back off my Jalen Hurts tweets once he was putting up
buddy.
goose eggs in the second half.
That means
They were the lack of courage of your
There were
convictions.
2 games where he didn't complete a pass.
I know.
It's hard. I had to lay my guns down.
I know.
What am I supposed to do?
What's that got to do with Sam Darnold?
Because winning Super Bowl
Darnold's a
MVP
passer.
in a great game and having your coach covered with Gatorade as Mahomes takes shots down the field, the padded stats, does not necessarily make you bulletproof from here on out. Time now for the most motivational segment in all of sports and Bud List. Also time where we read some viewer mail. Christina went to the post office today in the freezing cold. I said, Christina, you didn't have to do that. There's email. She said, I have to. I said, okay. Dear Wilds, love the show. Wow, thank you. Is it true that you're not doing a Photoshop today and just telling us the true story about your producer looking to place Jackson Blade in a soap opera? Cheers, Ryan and Brian. That is true, Ryan and Brian. True story. Hubs, our producer, came into my office and he said, I'm working on something. And I'm like, what is it? Because, there's not a real benefit to keeping me in the dark about stuff. He's like, I don't want to tell you. I'm like, no, tell me. I'm looking at casting calls for soap operas to get Brew to get into a soap opera as Jackson Blade. And I said, have you asked Brew about this? And he said, not yet. So would you be open to Hubs booking you casting calls? And we don't know if you're playing yourself or a person who looks just like you.
Jackson Blade.
I
gotta be playing Jackson.
Which is Chris
Absolutely.
Broussard.
That's a perfect soap opera name too.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm definitely. Hollywood, I'm interested. All right. It's not even far-fetched. I'm an actor.
Yeah, it's not far-fetched.
It's not far.
Check my IMDb page.
People have
I'm
checked
an
it. It
actor.
just says
I could
Chris
be in
Broussard
it
as
easily.
himself.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't say Jackson Blade.
It might soon. It does on
Check
Wikipedia.
his Wikipedia.
Yes, it says I
Wikipedia
played
says Jackson Blade.
Okay.
Exactly.
Time now for the Bud List featuring Chris Broussard as Jackson Blade.
Here we go. Number 3, the Pro Bowl. And I got some great things for you guys on this one. All right, look, it's a tough spot. Now, I didn't choose Shador, but hey, we'll go with it. It's a tough spot because it's the most violent of the American sports as far as the mainstream ones.
Well, UFC.
Well, the top team sports.
That slap.
And
what?
You can get injured. The last thing you want are star players or any players getting injured in the exhibition. So it's a tough situation. I get it. So now you got flag football. I used to say, you know what? When I was a kid growing up in the 70s, they had this show called Superstars, and I loved it. Everybody loved it, where the top athletes would compete in various events, and they should do that for the Pro Bowl. And the Pro Bowl has taken some of that, most notably the tug of war. They got the tug of war and all that. But what we as fans want, Roger Goodell and so on, what we want who's the fastest, who's the strongest, who's the baddest, right? And so I want real. I don't just want throwing it at a target, moving target and all that. Here's what I want.
Okay.
A 40-yard dash.
Great.
All right? And I'm gonna say something after these. Yeah. A 100-meter dash.
Oh, 100, yep.
A bench press contest.
Weight
Who's the strongest?
or reps?
Weight. Well, it could be either one. It could be one time max or it could be 3 reps. 3 times.
3 reps.
3 times max.
Or what about just how many times you could do 225?
No. I want big numbers.
Okay.
Who can bench 475, 525, whatever it is? That's what we want to see.
I like that.
We want to see Lane Johnson and all these guys. Miles Garrett. Who can bench the most?
Yeah.
All right. An obstacle course would be nice. That was a big part. That was a big part of Superstar.
What?
Those who know. An obstacle course was that was fun. No. You have to climb up a wall with a rope.
Like American
You'd have
Gladiators?
to sprint a little bit. You'd have to jump over some water.
I don't want to ruin this. They currently do that.
Okay,
They
good.
jump
So
through something. You got to jump on a big mat. You're doing a flip.
Okay, you're almost there. And for fun, well, no. One furthest throw.
Yes.
Who can throw it the first? Can somebody throw it 80 yards, whatever? For fun, I'll even throw this in. A dunk contest. Now, there's not football, but hey, you know, a lot of receivers running, they would love a dunk contest. So now you're saying, they're not going to compete, up the money. Right now, you get, I believe, $92,000 if you're on the winning team in the flag football game, $46,000 if you're on the losing team. Man, put some real loot behind it. $1 million if you win the 40-yard dash. NFL can afford it. $500,000. Right? I mean, seriously, you got to put big money.
I need to get back in here.
$500,000 if you win the bench press or something. But I'm saying put some real money in it where players will be incentivized to want to compete. And then we talked about it earlier this week, the Shador, some of these other alternates, they should not be pro bowlers. Now, it's fine for them to come and compete, and a lot will want to, considering if you put these events in there, you can win big money. But you should have the original Pro Bowl team, even if guys are playing in the Super Bowl, even if guys are injured, they can't go to Orlando, but they are the only ones who are considered Pro Bowlers in all the almanacs, Pro Football Reference, for historical purposes, and so on and so forth.
Can I add a competition?
Pretty good.
Yep.
What about 3-on-3 hoops?
Well,
then they got to gather teams together.
You got to pick them.
Maybe one-on-one.
How about a home run derby?
You could do one-on-one.
Home run derby.
Then they get one. There's one non-football
Anything
thing,
but football.
a dunk contest.
No,
one non-dunk contest. I hate it, Nick, but apparently Greg did.
Sorry, yes.
All right, at number 2, Ja Morant. We're going to the NBA. Giannis isn't the only one on the trading block. The difference is nobody really wants Ja.
Yeah, strange.
All right, now 3 years ago, if Ja Morant, first of all, him being on the trading block would have been unfathomable. You're averaging 26 points a game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists a game, coming off a second-team All-NBA season. You're one of the most spectacular players in the league and a potential face of the league. You were a face of the league candidate, and now Ja, like I said, market slim. You probably won't get traded by next Thursday because not many teams want you with your contract and all that. Now, obviously, you've had the off-the-court issues. That's not the only reason teams don't want you. Obviously, you've had the injury issues. That's huge. You guys know in Ja's 7 seasons, he has never played 70 games. Yeah. He's only played more than 65 once. Okay? So the last 3 years, Jai, you've missed 130 games, and it's going to keep getting more because you're out right now for at least a few more weeks with an elbow injury. But on top of that, Nick, on top of the off-the-court issues, on top of the big money contract, on top of the injuries, your game is falling off.
Shoot.
Jai. Yeah. You're shooting, you're averaging 19 points. That's your lowest since your second year. In your second year, that was like, oh, wow, he's coming. He's 19 points a game. And you're shooting 41% from the floor, which is a career low. But as Nick said, 20 and abysmal, 23% from three-point range. Today's NBA, that just can't get cut it. So here's what I want you to do. Ja, you're blowing it. Like Angelo Dundee told Sugar Ray Leonard once, you're blowing it, kid. You could be a Hall of Famer. You could be you could be a cultural icon. And people in America love a comeback story.
That's true.
You fell down, you messed up, but you came back and made it right and went to a higher level. People would love that. So you could be a cultural icon with your spectacular high-flying style of play. Here's what you have to do, though. You gotta, this offseason, obviously, jump shots, three-pointers all summer, three-pointers all day, all right? You got to work on your three, work on your strength, work on your nutrition, work on your conditioning so you don't get injured. Obviously, you got to be better off the court and all that stuff, but you can do it, Ja, because you're only 26 years old. You still have time. I think of Steve Francis. I think of Michael Ray Richardson, guys who had Hall of Fame potential, were superstars at one point early in their careers and then fell off for various reasons. That's where you're headed. But, Ja, I believe in you. I'm pulling for you.
I like that. That was good.
I'm really pulling for you. All right, at number 1, Giannis. All right, the man of the hour on the trade block. A lot of people, most people, it seems like in the league and around the league think he's going to get traded. What did I say? Giannis should grease the wheels. That's pretty good. Was that Ramsey?
That was pretty good.
Wow, I like that. All right. But yeah, most people think you're going to get traded before next Thursday. And here's the thing, because everybody's talked about, well, Giannis wants to go to New York, so with the Bucks, Bucks got to do what's best for them, though. You have a good amount of control over this, Giannis. You have, after next season, you can become a free agent. You can opt out of your contract and become a free agent. You can sign in October of this year, you can sign a 4-year Wild's $275 million contract. That's almost $80 million a year, all right? So you have control because no team is going to trade for you if you say, I'm not signing long-term there. So Brooklyn, at some point we hope you get it together, but if I'm Giannis, I'm like, no. Why am I going to Brooklyn to be Milwaukee East, all right? Atlanta, Knicks team, I'm not excited about Giannis in Atlanta, all right? This is how, Giannis, you force your way to the Knicks. And here's the thing, because this is about your legacy. You're already a Hall of Fame. You're already a top 20-ish player of all time. But winning more championships, this is how you separate yourself from Jokic and SGA and Luka and all these other great players in this era. This is how you move up in the historical rankings, all right? Championships. And if you could deliver to the Knicks, first of all, you stay in the East. So it's great to stay in the East. It's the easier conference. You could get to the finals multiple times, all right? But you stay in the East, and everything you do in New York is magnified. If you could deliver New York's first championship in 50-plus years, it would kind of be like 2 championships. Or 2 championships would be like 3 or 4. Like everything in New York is magnified. So Giannis, use your leverage, this the team you want, to push your way to the Big Apple and resurrect, save, bring the Knicks, I'm not even a Knicks fan, bring the Knicks a championship, the first one in 50-some odd years. Giannis, I believe in.
That was a great bud list.
Perfect.
All right. I'm going to go back to football, and I'm going to throw Sam Darnold up on the bud list. Sam Darnold played in the most important game that he had in the championship game, obviously against the Rams. We all saw it. 340-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. It was spectacular. You lit it up. There was doubt. There was question. What you were going to look like in the postseason. Can you be what's necessary and needed for this team that we all at least had top 3 in the National Football League all season long?
Yep.
Can you deliver the goods to where you get to a Super Bowl? Well, you did. And now that you're here, need you to do it again. Kind of got to do it again.
Yep.
I don't think we really understand how good you were in that game because we see the yards, but we saw the pressures and how you combated the pressure and how you performed. But third down, you were fantastic. A lot of the shouldered weight was put on you. This is what the game looked like in terms of third down. You obviously had 13 attempts. 7 of those conversions you converted for 58%. Most of those were passes. There were only 2 running third down attempts of those 13 that they even allowed to go outside of your hands. So your coach, Clint Kubiak, they were like, "You're gonna win it for us." If we can put that back up, because I want to go to the first downs. 19 of the 24 first downs were passing. That was a season high. So basically, what the Seattle Seahawks said, where we were in belief of, man, this defense is going to be the calling card. They were saying, Darnold, this is about you. You have to deliver the goods. And you did. That was the championship game. This is now the Super Bowl. And if you don't deliver the goods, everyone will still say, man, he only had it in him to do it once. Can you do it again? You don't have to match that. I believe in you. This is why you're on the bud list. I believe you can get it done. You can't convert or revert back to the turnover guy. You can't start seeing any ghosts. You're playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. Sustain that and deliver a championship. I know Wilds, he will get over it.
I'm a fan of Sam Darnold. I've always somewhat believed in Sam Darnold for the last 2 years.
Sam?
That's a good one, Greg. Absolutely true.
It's not 4:12 on a Thursday, actually 4:17. So is it like a train, like we just missed it?
Would you like me to skip it? Your call. Do you think you need more time?
No, mine's not that long. I just have one full screen. I think we have time for it.
Okay.
Time now. It's 4:17 and 22 seconds on a Thursday. It's time for a great segment looking at the whole sports media world. It's called the Sports Media Ombudsman. Check it out.
So, Hall of Fame votes always kind of shine a spotlight on the media because even Pro Football Hall of Fame, vast majority media members are the ones voting. And I am asking the media members that represent the Pro Football Hall of Fame voting contingent to please not allow the Bill Belichick controversy, the Bill Belichick snub, to ruin what is our best Hall of Fame and most exclusive Hall of Fame. Because the exclusivity of the Pro Football Hall of Fame is great. And I could prove that to you by talking about the Pro Football Hall of Fame, or I could prove that to you by mentioning the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, which has no resonance really at all anymore. At this point, it is less of an honor to become a Hall of Famer and more of an insult to not be. Like, wait, what do you mean I'm not at least a possible basketball Hall of Famer? Like, have you seen the guys who are in and what we thought of them while they were playing? Again, all great players, but it has become the Hall of very good, plus greats, plus legends, all in one room. And I already see some media members saying, you know what, for the senior committee candidates, instead of submitting 3 names, we should simply switch to a simple yes or no vote. That won't work, guys, because you know what's very easy to do? Yeah, I vote for him.
Sure.
Vote for him too.
Right.
Why not vote for him? Wait, I can vote for all of the guys?
I do that.
Well, I'm kind of a jerk if I don't. See, this guy's walking around with a cane. He didn't make a bunch of money playing football. Like, it was obvious. Put him in.
Yeah, I would.
Everybody would. And the existence of the senior committee, while something I support, already allows for some shirking of responsibilities. Because what you'll see is guys who are coming up against their threshold of eligibility for the regular committee, we mean like, as if the senior committee lets him in and not feeling like, hey, it's now or never for this person. And we've already seen massive mission creep. So the senior committee came into effect in 1972. From 1972 until 2004, that's 33 years, 24 Hall of Famers came out of the senior committee. 3 every 4 years, essentially. From 2005-2019, 24 more came out in 15 years. Then in 2020, 100-year anniversary, they said, you know what? Big anniversary, let's clean the books. They put 10 in that year. Since then, there have been 8 more in the 5 years, and our guy Vahe Gregorian said, I want 3 more this season. And once that happens, we all know this train is never late. Well, if Ken Anderson's a Hall of Famer,
wow.
Why? How is Phillip Rivers not?
Yeah.
And what about Matt Ryan won an MVP? What about Eli?
Yeah.
And then it's just not what it was. I understand it feels like a bummer to be that great and not quite make it, but that is why it is such an honor for those who do. I know people will want to massively change things because of the Belichick controversy. That storm will pass. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is great. We should keep it great.
That's good.
That was a good sport.
That's very
Thanks,
good.
KW.
I agree.
I'm going to put Super Bowl favorites on the Bud list, and I'd like to ask Greg Jennings a question. Greg, as you know, is a amateur natural bodybuilder, okay? A lot of aesthetics, mostly. He's not a power lifter. That being said, I do think that you lift heavy sometimes, correct, Greg?
Correct.
Okay, the question is this. Give me an exercise. Let's say a bench press. Easy to spot you. And I'm in the gym with you, spotting you. And you're trying to set a PR, personal record. Do you want me to tell you, and you're like, wow, I need to get pumped up. Do you want me to say, Greg, you can do this. I believe in you. Or, Greg, you can't do this. This weight is too heavy for you. What would you prefer?
Greg, you can do this.
There you go. Great answer. Nah, he's just trying to ruin your
Not
thing.
like Wild one to
That's
hear.
great. That's great, bro.
I'm messing with you, Wild.
I'm built different. I want to hear. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I want that.
of course.
It's my theory on this graphic. Hey, Seahawks are 4.5-point favorites in the Super Bowl. How have 4 or more point favorites done since 2007? They are 2-5 outright, and not one team has covered. So the fact that the Patriots are being told, hey, we don't believe in you, I think is an actual strategic advantage that has been a historical advantage for at least the last 7 times this has happened. This is no disrespect to the Bud list, which does end with, I believe in you. But occasionally you are like, but maybe you should go even harder if you really want to inspire a certain set of people. Be like, you know what? I don't believe in you. I don't think you can do it. And maybe that will be the motivation that will cause teams to get to their next level or win the Super Bowl, or at least cover.
You would not be
You
happy.
want that about the Patriots.
You would not.
Oh, I don't want to cover. I want an outright win, 2-5.
Outright win. Yeah, I understand. I'm saying.
Okay.
5 outright wins.
The cover means nothing to you.
No, I don't.
No.
The cover. I
shitty.
actually am going to put a sizable bet.
Oh,
You're going to bet huge on the Seahawks because
Yes.
you do these stupid emotional hedges.
Yes.
Wait,
Either I'm winning something.
Yeah.
I'd like to call it right now, since I'm the guy who believes in repeats, but you're the guy who believes in three-peats. That's the problem. William Byron going for his 3rd consecutive Daytona 500 win.
that's your guy?
Well, I'm a Logano guy because he's from Connecticut, but I think we should have a few guys.
I'll
to root
take
for.
Byron. He's my guy.
Shoot.
You had him.
Daytona 500, February 15th, only on Fox. Welcome back to First Things First. Head back to our conversation about Canton. Belichick snubbed, and the backlash was so intense, the Hall of Fame released a statement saying they, quote, respect the passionate reaction of many fans, media members, and enshrinees of the hall itself, while also reminding voters if any member violated the selection process bylaws, action will be taken. Dun, dun, dun. Fallout continues, bro. Do you think the effects of, or do you think this affects the Patriots dynasty?
Well, look, I still believe the Patriots are the greatest dynasty ever.
Perfect.
I know you did your list. I consider the Patriots from 2001 to 2018 one dynasty. Like I consider the San Antonio Spurs that. So I think, to win 6 Super Bowls, which is more than every franchise except the Steelers who have 6, and then to get to 9, which is more than any franchise period has ever been to, I think that's the best dynasty ever. So, and I'm one that was not up in arms about Belichick not getting in because of the Spygate. That said, I do think it has to affect the dynasty a little in that I'm sure that there are players today who are young who didn't even know about Spygate. And even young fans who weren't aware of it, maybe it was fuzzy in their mind or something like that. Sure. This is just drumming it all up.
The co-host of my podcast, Demonze. He's 27.
And he didn't even know.
He had heard, the only real discussion he'd ever heard or been involved in Spygate was today on the pod.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's fresh for him.
So now there are people like, wait, Belichick cheated? Brady? Some of Brady's and I'm not belittling because I said they're the best dynasty ever, but now it just puts in some people's mind some doubt that may not have been there or a mental asterisk that wasn't there before. And it brings all this stuff that had kind of been forgotten or certainly, pushed under the carpet. Now it's back to the forefront. And so in that regard, I think it does diminish it a little bit, but I still think it's the best dynasty ever.
No, it doesn't diminish the dynasty. And I can speak from a player's perspective. And you spoke to Willie Colon yesterday, talking about his experience with losing against the Belichick team 3-3. Most players are going to look at that and say, man, y'all had a chance. Almost 100% of players are not going to look at it that way and not say, man, they only got that because they cheated. They got that because they had a little advantage. We don't see it that way. Mm-hmm. As competitors, you still have to line up and execute. I still feel like I'm better than you. And so when you look at what they were able to do, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 6 times, and the longevity, the sustainability of it, I'm sorry, you can never take that away. When you talked about kids not knowing, you think when they look up Bill Belichick in the history books is going to have Spygate next to it? No,
but I'm saying this has brought it up.
I understand that, and it will.
Now they're looking it up.
This will pass just like Spygate.
It'll pass, but it doesn't change how I view it because I lived through it. You know what I mean? And him not being a first ballot Hall of Famer does not change how I view him because I would have voted him first ballot. I think he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think that, so here is the question I would ask you, and I don't even want to make it Chiefs. And this is an odd hypothetical, but walk me down the road.
I love this.
Let's go 18 years from right now.
Okay, 18 years from right now.
And 19 years into Drake Maye's career.
Yep.
And Vrabel's been there the whole time. It's the craziest thing ever. They have the exact same win-loss record as Brady Belichick.
Amazing.
They have 6 rings. They went to 9 Super Bowls. They have the exact same resume. And someone says,
what a dream we have. Right?
And right, that's why I'm removing the Chiefs from it. And someone says, all right, who had the better dynasty?
Oh, it's like picking between my children.
Right.
I love them both equally.
I understand. But so
no, I get what
what I'm saying is if if someone ever does approach it, because I agree with you guys, I do look at it as two separate dynasties, but if you are saying it is one, it is unquestionably the greatest dynasty ever, no matter what. If someone ever matches it, this is where this applies.
Yep, agree. I do agree with that.
And that's why I said the Patriots. Like, if Drake Maye and Vrabel get to 9 and win 6, and they have all the same accolades, and there's not a single scandal, not a single blemish, then they get the tie goes to them.
Yeah. Hard to do it without any blemish.
It's
just odd.
And so that's where, you know what I mean? That's where I think it matters just a bit.
I think that's fair.
I would ask you, Greg, if I can, if you said if you were playing a team and you found out, you don't consider it, they still got to beat us. If you found out the next day after a game, man, they had y'all blitz packages from filming, illegally filming something. You wouldn't have been, and it was a 3-point loss. And they didn't bowl you out by 25.
I would definitely feel some type of way.
Okay.
I would definitely feel some type of way. Yeah. Ultimately, I feel like we all have each other's signals. When we played in the Super Bowl, Troy Polamalu, he knew what we were doing. Not because he was cheating. He just watched the film.
Yeah.
He has the playbook on us.
But if you
had it on
new
them
stuff, they didn't that you had never used before, which happened at times.
All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, yes, that would have bothered me. It wouldn't have sat well with me. But I still ultimately feel like the competitor in me feels like I can be more than just excuses of, man, they had our blitz packages.
What, KW?
No, I'm being nice. I'm being nice. Okay. So Belichick would have 2 more rings.
What?
If it wasn't for Eli Manning, who got 2 Super Bowls against the Patriots. Eli goes back-to-back years without a knock on his door. Is anyone starting to doubt he gets in at all?
And just to be, I'm not correcting you at all. Like the knocks on the doors haven't happened yet. We're not supposed to know this either. Like this is also like the Hall of Fame's mad.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Like the Hall of Fame. What? I'm just saying.
I know about it though.
No. I'm saying the Hall of Fame is upset that this got leaked as well. So something's going on. Like for whatever it's worth. I am doubting he gets in, and I don't think he's not a Hall of Famer to me. And I don't think all of a sudden it's not like, but in 6 years. We're going to have a weak class, and that's when we're going to correct it. Like,
that's what happened.
He played a very long time. He was an Iron Man, and he deserves credit for that and had an excellent career. In that very long career, the only category he ever led the NFL in was interceptions, and he did that 4 times. He had 117 wins and 117 losses. He has 2 seasons where his team won a playoff game. Now, those seasons, they went 4-0 and he won Super Bowl MVP, which is a remarkable accomplishment. But I view him as almost the threshold for very, very good player, not Hall of Famer. I don't actually think he was better than Phillip Rivers, and I don't think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. So I also think that if he was Eli Manson, or if he played in Pittsburgh, if he wasn't a Manning that played in New York City, I don't think people would even really find it controversial that he's not a Hall of Famer.
That you're proving my point, and I've been a part of the New York media, and I've learned this. I did not know this when I was not in New York. I didn't grow up in New York. I didn't start my career in New York. Once I got to New York, I began to see this, how everything is magnified in New York. So in New York, they think Eli is unquestionably a Hall of Famer because he won 2 Super Bowls. Outside of New York, I think most people feel like you. Like, he was a really good player. Yeah, he won 2 Super Bowls, but he was a .500 quarterback. He never made All-Pro. He made the playoffs 6 times in 16 years. Like, no, he never threw for 5,000 yards. He never threw for more than 35 touchdowns in a season. Like, he was really good, and I just think this is kind of a New York thing, and I think the last name helps too.
And beating Brady twice helps.
Yeah. So I do think as as time goes on, it's just, I'm starting to think he won't make it because people outside of New York aren't as enchanted with the fact that they won 2 Super Bowls.
I think eventually he gets in. Do I believe he is a Hall of Famer and worthy of it? I don't, but I believe he eventually gets in because of everything that you're talking about. What's going on right now with Bill Belichick? And then the next topic is, this is the guy that overcame Spygate.
A Hall of Famer.
He overcame that and still won in spite of. Eventually, because of how the process is, and you get to the back of the line, you get older, and then it's like, okay, you just laid it out.
Senior committee.
You just laid out. You laid out all of that.
Yeah.
So eventually he's going to get in. It's just a matter of time. I don't think that he gets in anytime soon. When you look at who's up next year, the guy who came in the same draft, Ben Roethlisberger, he's been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2.
Just better. Yeah.
Stats are a little bit better. Resume in the postseason is better.
And then Brady's up after him.
I don't see him getting in anytime soon, but I think eventually he gets in.
Did you, not to give you a pop quiz, how many interceptions he had in his career?
Eli?
I don't know that.
Lots, right?
200 something, yeah.
The 2 throws in the Super Bowl, I think, erase all of that.
I mean,
The fact that he was
think he's a Hall of Famer?
Michigan State tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
I'm starting to see why Wild's flag football team wasn't as successful as we would have thought.
What is that supposed to mean? I'm bringing my trophy tomorrow. Number 3, Michigan. Number 7, Michigan State. Don't forget I have them going to the Final Four. Sam Darnold. He's got the stats. He's got the wins. He's the favorite now, Brew, to win Super Bowl MVP.
Wow.
But his subpar performance early in his career that you constantly remind us about
6 years.
feels like it casts a long shadow over his recent performance. Josh ran the numbers from 28 to 2023.
Those are bad, bro.
Well, what do you want me to do?
That's a rough.
Not great. Yeah, but then you know what
That
he
is
did?
a rough
Hold
call.
on, well, he turned the corner. Okay?
Josh, you shouldn't have done that,
There
man.
were some choppy waters. For the last 2 years, they've been great.
I mean, I was ready to defend this guy. That is a tough
You're
last
mad at what he
column.
did in 2018?
Well, but through 23. That's a rough column, bro.
6 seasons.
Come on, guys.
That's rough.
You just did it to him.
Man.
No, so the question
I was
is
ready
he
to
top
make
10? That he's not. We're talking about now. We're not talking about 3 teams ago.
If he wins the Super Bowl, is he a top 10 quarterback?
I'm not sure what the question is.
It's
Dusty.
to me, it's if he wins the Super Bowl.
Oh, is that okay?
If he wins the Super Bowl.
Well,
is
so
he
that's
top
not what
10?
we agreed upon, but that's fine.
That's
It's
what I was-
already cemented as top 10 quarterback, but go ahead. You can preface it.
Cemented is too strong, but I'm going to say if he wins the Super Bowl,
He's top 10.
He starts next season as top 10. After the first six or so,
Yeah.
and this isn't a cop-out. It's fluid. I'm not trying to be funny.
No, I know
It
that.
is fluid.
It goes back and
between so many J-Lo, Dak, all these
Baker
guys
sometimes.
that, depending on the season they have, they're in the
So
top
we
10.
agree. The 6 would be Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Stafford, May, Burrow.
Yes.
Like that.
Great.
So
Shout out to
that's
Drake Maye.
so. Yeah, I mean, listen.
And
I think he's
May-
great. I think
Because
May's
he's only
great,
done
and
it 1
May
year,
is getting the opposite of the Darnold curve. Having a year this great this early makes you feel uber
He'll
optimistic.
enter next season. Yeah.
So
here's
those
the Final
top
Four.
6 are there,
Here we
and then
go.
the Final Four. To Brew's point, you have, and I am in random names, okay, amongst Sam Darnold, Justin Herbert, Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield. Did I say Jalen Hurts?
You did.
Yeah.
Okay,
Say
so
Brock?
that's 10.
Brock Purdy.
Okay, Brock Purdy. Then there's
I mean,
11. That's 7 through
give me an
7.
argument for Brock,
7
top 10.
through 17 is there. Only 4 of those guys are top 10.
Yeah.
I am leaning yes on Darnold. I was leaning further before I saw that massacre of a graphic, Josh. He wasn't in the top 32 in anything. There's only 32
It's a long
teams.
time ago.
Go.
2 years, 3 years.
Oh, gee whiz.
Top 10 for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Look, we can't see. We get stuck on what he was and some of the moments that he has. Like Wild's
It's
put
only
it up
been
there.
2 years.
It's been 2 great years.
Yeah.
And it
2
does help
years,
that it's with two different teams.
Two completely different teams.
I think that
like,
helps him.
If we go back to Minnesota, it's like, oh man, he got Kevin O'Connell, he had Justin Jefferson, Addison, T.J. Hockenson, he had this great offense. Was it him? Or was it the offense? Was it the offensive play caller and head coach? Then it's like, you know what? Let's go to a different place. All we said, I don't think he can do it again. He's not doing it again.
Did it again.
JSN, best wide receiver in football.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden. He was not that last year. He was really, really good.
If Dallas could trade, and maybe you have Dak in or cemented in the top 10, but if Dallas could trade Dak for Darnold,
that's the completely different question. What I'm saying, because they're two totally different quarterbacks. But right now, yes, you have to honor what he's been able to do in two different franchises for 2 consecutive years. I just think he's matured. He's developed.
I think he starts next season in the top 10.
Yeah, Mahomes Mountain has him
but
in
I
the
don't know
top
that
10.
he stays there.
Damn straight.
But he's also going to say he could fall out.
Yeah, well, of course. Rich tapestry, and we got to see how he plays in the Super Bowl. But what I would say is this. Forget top 10, which is 2 hands. You can't count on one hand active quarterbacks who have had a better game in a bigger spot than he had 5 days ago. I think Mahomes, Hurts, Stafford, Allen are the only active quarterbacks who have played better in a game that big. That's I don't think I'm leaving anybody out. And so that's that
championship game.
Yeah, that really carries huge weight, I think, fairly as far as what we think of him. If he follows that up with an awesome Super Bowl performance, then I think the only fair way to do it is just like I said, and you said after the 6 it's fluid. Then I think we have to say after the 7 it's fluid.
What if he lays an egg? We should probably do this tomorrow. If he lays an egg in the Super Bowl,
then I think he's still just in that squishy.
Does he get penalized? Like,
yeah.
you guys weren't in the Super Bowl.
He's tier 2 for
this
sure.
goes right back to what we were talking about the other day. Because of his success that he had in the championship game, I think he's going to be. No, we are still going to view him from a lens of what he once was because he did that so much early in his career.
I would not go back to viewing him like I did a month ago.
No, you can't have the game he had in the NFC Championship and think he's scared.
If he lays an egg, and
they would just be like, okay, he's not elite.
Or it's the this Patriots defense.
Patriots defense pretty good. Shut down
everyone.
They are really good.
Yeah,
they are really good.
And Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. Live from New York, it's First Things First Overtime today. Is there an argument that the Patriots and the Seahawks are actually not the 2 teams that deserve to be in the Super Bowl?
I asked for this question purely to try to infuriate
I'm not
before
he
left the building.
At all. Meanwhile, what do we make of an odd interaction between Sean Payton and his quarterback? And I'll be... I'm not in that segment.
Why? What were you going to say?
Remember I got cut off by Dusty? He was old.
Yeah. In the intro, give your take real quick on it. Go.
I think there's trouble brewing.
Okay.
And I think you are putting a seed that the team that falls off from first to worst.
A chip on the roulette wheel.
I'm putting a chip on first to worst.
No way. No way.
That would mean that the Raiders have to pop.
No way.
Fernando.
They don't need to pop.
The
They
Raiders
just need to get
popping.
third. 7 wins.
Well, Nick had last place this year.
And finally, it's a fresh edition of Frenemies.
All he does is win, no matter what.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Thanks, DJ.
What an passion.
Exactly.
And he doesn't even like him.
I'm just saying.
Brew is like, listen,
I'm about
there's 15 to 18 coaches I'd rather have too. But
this is one of the
here's
5 best
why
ever.
he's John Madden.
I'm just saying.
Winning games.
It was a great take that you didn't believe.
He did believe it.
I believed it. The dude wins.
That's what I want from my coach. Brew doesn't believe it. The only time Brew's ever gotten mad at me is slam the table. Don't question my integrity. I was like, I didn't know I was.
I don't think I went that far.
Yes, you did.
Slam the table.
Yeah.
You slammed
Don't
his
do that.
table. I was like, whoa.
And Nick
I didn't even know I did. I was just messing around.
He's like, I fold. He just threw his card. He's like, I fold.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
That's incredible. My apologies. I'm quiet. You love Sirianni. Everyone knows that.
Head to Patriots practice. This is video from today. Drake's shoulder is acting up. Earlier in the week, He told WEEI, he's like, I've been throwing the ball for 30 weeks now. We're so good.
I didn't love hearing that. Did you? I mean,
no, I got a little bit.
Every quarterback that's been in the Super Bowl has done that.
Well, yeah.
I don't like hearing
They're not throwing it with pinpoint accuracy like this guy and beautiful balls down the field. He didn't say that we're so good. I said that. But in any event, he met with the media today and talked about how he's feeling. Take a listen.
Do whatever I can to get back to 100%. And I think a lot of people in the locker room would say the same thing. Having a 2-week break, it's nice to maybe rest a little more and get to know the Seahawks as good as I can. And from there, looking forward to getting out to practice and trying to transfer that to live game reps.
I'm officially not worried. Nah.
Perfect.
I don't know. Danny, should I be worried?
I do not think you should be worried about Drake Maye playing in the Super Bowl, right? Like, he's going to play.
Of course. I'm not worried about that.
I looked up who the backup was. I was like,
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs, Tommy DeVito. You know what I mean? It's just like it crosses your mind.
DeVito got in. Probably will. Like at the end of the Eagles game.
So I looked it up. But you're getting a little angry there. No, if he has, we believe that this is real. Like, we believe something is going on.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So if we believe that something is going on, he doesn't play the brand of football that would have you at 0% concern. He takes a lot of hits.
Oh yeah.
He gets sacked a lot. So if you think something is real, like if it's something or nothing, if we say something, he's on pace to be the most sacked quarterback in the history of the playoffs. Like, we can show in terms of most sacks taken en route to a Super Bowl, he has the most, been counting it since '82. Burrow, you remember, ended up with the most sacks ever because he took 7 in that Super Bowl.
19.
So 19's the record. He would have to get sacked 5 times for the most. But so if the shoulder injury is real and we know he's going to take a lot of hits in this game just because that is his style, then you should be a little worried.
Throw that graphic back up if you would. Sorry, I should have said please.
Okay, we forgot.
That is I understand part of this is they didn't have a bye, so they played 3 games. But what's stunning about this to me is the 4th most sacks ever taken en route to the Super Bowl is half as many as Drake has taken. There's only 3 guys that have gotten to the Super Bowl taking more than 8 sacks. So, and he sacked 55 times in the regular season, a big number, and he runs the ball. Mm-hmm. And so those are different hits, and he runs the ball. He's not Josh Allen, but he's closer to a Josh Allen running style than young Lamar running style. Oh yeah. In that he will
take a little bit.
He'll take a hit, and
the Hufanga hit is what exacerbated this.
And so here would be the reason I would be worried. And I think you'll agree with me on this. I don't know who you're picking in the game. I don't think the Pats can win a game against Seattle where Drake Maye doesn't play really well. And so that's my concern. Now, I think he can play really well even with a banged up shoulder. Right? It's the Super Bowl. He's young. He's awesome. But I don't feel Drake Maye. I think he's played 20 games this year, right? Didn't miss any games during the regular season. I think if we stacked up his 5 worst, 3 of them were in the playoffs so far.
Oh, yeah.
And so I do not believe they have a path to victory Sunday with him playing the way he's played up to this point. And so barring a Darnold complete meltdown, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think you have the game he had 5 days ago and then a total C.J. Stroud game.
Well, it's different playing like the 20-something best defense and the second best defense.
No, I understand, but we've seen him play. Like, I don't think Darnold's going to have a horrifying game.
No, I'm not putting up, but if I just rephrase that of like, it's like everything is Drake versus the number 1 defense. Like, well, it's Sam Darnold versus the number 2 scoring defense now. So I think there's a scenario where Sam Darnold is not effective in moving the ball where he's not playing a bad game.
Fair enough. But what I'm saying is I think for you guys to put up 24 points,
sure,
Drake's going to have to be very good. And certainly for you guys to put up more than that, I think he's going to have to be excellent. Mm-hmm. Not saying he can't be, but that's why I would be concerned.
Yeah, look, he's definitely playing. I think he'll be fine. It may be bothering him some, but I'm not really concerned with that. I'm more where Nick is. he's going to have to play well because I don't think you guys are going to shut out the Seattle defense like you have these other teams. Because the Chargers, particularly with their injuries, but period, the Chargers, the Texans, and the Broncos with Jarrett Stidham were mediocre offenses, okay, or even below mediocre, all right? This is one of the best offenses in the league, and it has been absolutely lights out in the playoffs. You know, averaging 36 points, score 72 in 2 games. So I think you guys, I'm not saying it's going to necessarily be this shootout, but y'all going to have to put up some points. So Drake's going to have to be very good. And if the shoulder hinders that, we've seen Baker, the difference between him healthy and him with a shoulder injury. So hopefully that's not the case with Drake, but he's going to have to be good for them to win, I think.
Do you anticipate yourself being more or less worried by game time? Like, is your confidence in this going to improve?
I was going
to get worried.
I was going to do this off the air, but I'll do it on the air.
Great.
Transparency. What I believe and what is best for the show might be 2 different things. Because I went into the Denver game and said, I do not think this is going to be close.
Right.
I think Drake Maye is going to light up the Denver defense. It didn't happen. My feeling about the Super Bowl is I don't think this is going to be close. I think Drake Maye is going to light up the Seattle defense.
Wow.
I don't think that's great for the show.
What's great? What do you
It
mean?
would be great
Can I
for
tell
the
you?
show.
But that
your
is what is
instincts
going
are wrong.
to happen.
It would be.
Really?
It's
you really think that's going to happen? You think the Patriots going to rout the Seahawks?
By
Why would it be bad for the show?
Yeah.
Yes. Just because it feels like a carbon copy of the take I had for the AFC Championship.
No, but you being loud wrong is just great, and we didn't really get to revel in your loud wrongness because the Patriots won.
Yeah, you haven't been able to revel in my loud wrongness for the entire year.
But what you just said it. Your hypothesis on the AFC Championship game was wrong.
Yes.
But they won anyway,
as long as they win.
so there were no. It didn't matter. But you're asking, is he going to be more or less worried? By the time we get to Friday, Wildes is going to say in his parlance, "Give me one chip on the take roulette wheel of 31-3 Patriots." What?
I was kicking around ideas because, as you know, this is a lot of like behind the scenes stuff and first things first overtime. Next week, there's just one big game, and we've got 15 hours worth of show to fill. It gets a little bit tough. And I was going to kick around passing yards record.
See, I told you. It's just like Brady's against.
Yeah, it's like 500.
It's 500. Yeah.
Philly, right?
No, he's gonna Brew.
No, I know, because who could ever throw for like 450 yards? Oh, the second MVP against the MVP candidate against the same defense. Like
he threw for 300 yards once this season.
Again,
a lot of times you don't have to when you're up.
I just think it's a little disrespectful to Seattle, no?
A little.
It's like if Drake May's shoulder was 100% fine.
You're gonna be in their pregame tape.
I would love it.
Okay, say something else.
They're 4.5-point favorites. They're in the driver's seat.
You're gonna be in their tape for sure.
I would love to be. I would.
You're auditioning for it.
I would relish that. Okay. Tom Brady was on Seattle Sports 710 with Brock and Salk, and said this about the Super Bowl matchup. Take a listen.
After one game, you see pretty quickly, kind of the dominance of the defense and kind of the methodical approach of the offense, the run game, the big plays in the passing game, the explosive special team plays. You guys have been watching it all season long. So, yeah, there's no doubt to me the best team in the NFC is playing in the Super Bowl. That's for sure.
Danny, do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree that Seattle is the best team in the NFC. And I think that the Patriots are the team that won the AFC and have an argument to be the best team in the AFC, but really no argument to be the second best team in football. It won't matter. Like if they win, you win the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. Like what wild card teams have won the Super Bowl.
They're the best that year.
They're the champions that year.
Well,
right?
You wouldn't even give them if they won the Super Bowl. You wouldn't just say they were the best team this year. You say
I'm annoying that way.
He would say they had the best season.
Yeah, they had the best season and they were the champions.
Yeah, I told you this is going to enrage you. This is why we're doing this.
The only reason I feel that, I feel like the 18-1 Patriots are the best team
Correct.
ever, and they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Correct. We all know that.
There's a little bit of that I
That's an outlier, though. Because, I mean, that's a team that was the first ever team to be 18-0.
They set record. I mean, Brady threw 50 touchdowns like that.
That to me doesn't apply to this.
Just trying to,
but go ahead.
meet him in the middle.
Seattle's
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was a kind of an olive branch. No, listen, I think that these teams are both very good. I've thought that Seattle was better all year, so you could call it confirmation bias. But part of it is the numbers, and part of it is watching the games, and part of it is who you do it against and the circumstances. And if we do the tail of the tape between the two teams, they're pretty similar between Seattle and New England. And this is including the playoff run, just because if I do it in the regular season, the points per game number for New England is a little better. But I actually wanted to include the playoffs because you're playing good defenses. You're playing better teams, right? You only played 4 playoff teams in the regular season, 4 games against playoff teams in the regular season. Seattle played 8. But if you look at it, I think we would all agree the team on the left is better than the team on the right. And then when you also then adjust for the path at which they got there, both through the regular season and how much of a heavyweight fight that felt like between Seattle and the Rams, the blowout against San Francisco, C.J. Stroud having one of the worst games of the year on the Broncos side of it, and getting by Denver with the backup quarterback.
The C.J. Stroud stuff I think is the most dismissive because the Texans went into that game on a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah.
And people had the Texans cooking the Patriots. And then once the Patriots defense proved problematic for C.J. Stroud, all of a sudden C.J. Stroud was not good anymore.
Why? Listen, I don't know about all those people. Plenty of things that I did on this show being like, if C.J. Stroud could be the top half quarterback, I said he was the Jordan Love of the AFC. Yes. If he could be average, their team was ready to win a Super Bowl, and he wasn't average. Like C.J. Stroud was pretty bad this year, and then he was awful in the playoff
He wasn't
game.
good. I think
he was bad in his first playoff game, too.
The Steelers stuff, him looking bad, actually somehow hurt the Patriots.
No, that definitively, that's what I was going to say, because I understand your frustration. Like, hey, we were out there helping cause those turnovers.
Right. Yes, you were.
The problem was we saw CJ in the game against the Steelers look like he was ready to have a 4-turnover half that game too.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I think that colors it a bit, even if it's unfair.
That makes sense.
I mean, and C.J. Stroud had like one good game the second half of the season.
Right.
Like he was not very good this year. And so I think the Seahawks' path here has been a tougher path, and they've been more impressive in it. I mean, I just think isn't that objectively true?
Yeah, but I agree with that. But but you don't think the Patriots are the second best team in football?
I think the Rams are.
Right. So you were looking at it like that. Okay. I didn't know who you were.
I thought the Rams.
I got some nuance too. I think Seattle's definitely the best team in the NFC. I'm divided by conferences.
All right, that's how.
Yes. Yeah. I do think, and I know they got blasted in the playoff game. I think a healthy Niners team might have given them a run for their money. You know, they beat them in the first game of the season. It was close. So maybe that, but I thought they were better than the Rams because of the first 2 games that they split, but the turnover difference and they still were close. So I think Seattle's definitely best in NFC. AFC, you guys were certainly the most balanced team. Buffalo, great offense. Defense was okay, and obviously in the playoffs, not that good. Houston and Denver, great defenses, mediocre offenses at best. So I would have picked Buffalo over you guys. But beyond that, my main thing is I think, even if you want to say you guys are more balanced between offense and defense than the Texans and Denver, I think the Texans should have beat you had CJ just been average. I told you he's had CJ just been average.
Well, why wasn't he average?
He should. I give you some credit, but a lot of it was him too. It was like it wasn't all y'all. It was some him. So if CJ had played better,
honestly, I don't even know what that means.
I think they outplayed. Like their defense had y'all locked up. I know Drake made the great throw, but I think they should have beat y'all.
Bro,
and I think Denver with Bo Nix beat you.
Bro, Drake Maye is the only quarterback all year who threw 3 touchdowns against the Texans. We scored 21 points. I don't know how, and we were running the ball in the end of the game at will on them. to salt away a
I
victory.
think if
they did
they-
not have us locked up.
For the most part, they had a
What's for the most part?
Fumbles. He said they forced fumbles, and there were the issues.
Right.
I thought the Bo Nix thing is where I thought
I think they beat y'all with Bo Nix. They almost beat you with Jarrett Stidham.
I think the Patriots defense is playing by far their best football right now, which makes them feel like a more complete team. And I don't expect Patriots fans to like this. You feel a year ahead of schedule, but you just got into the Super Bowl, which is amazing. And maybe you'll win it. Like that does happen. But I think the best Patriots team is still coming next year and the year after that.
Maybe. That's interesting.
I have a surprise for you, KW.
Go for it.
So I did it like Brew did it. Different than Danny. And because I agree with you. That's why I was like, who do you think second best team is? I agree that if there were no conferences, you and I both said before, we thought an NFC Championship game was the Super Bowl played like that. I do think those were the two best teams this year, but that's not how I looked at it as.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah. The Rams had I believe 26th or 28th best defense since Thanksgiving.
KW?
I don't understand how that can be just disregarded when it's half the game.
And it's a hypothetical, so I guess we won't know. I think that my lean is a week out that the Rams have given the Seahawks their toughest test this postseason by a lot, and that'll be if the Seahawks play the Patriots on a neutral site and beat them by 10, and they beat the Rams by 4 in Seattle, that would maybe be a check mark in the argument of Seahawks Rams were the two best teams. But we won't know, and we'll see how that plays out. But I'm going to just say something.
Sure.
I'm not trying to have that argument. NFC, clearly the best team was Seattle. So check that box. I think the fact that New England has gotten subpar quarterback play from the best player on their team, that their defense thought that it might be a bit of a paper tiger coming into the playoffs and instead has been utterly dominant. That I think Mike Vrabel did a better job in the AFC Championship game than Sean Payton. Mm-hmm. That they have avoided these massive cataclysmic errors. That when you roll all that up into a year where the AFC teams that we historically believe in, the Chiefs, year from hell, they're not in the discussion. Ravens, year from hell, they're not in the discussion. Broncos, I thought all of the same butting we could do about the Patriots schedule. We could do the Broncos about the Patriots defense. We could do the Broncos offense going into the year. And then they played in Denver. I get that it was they had a backup quarterback, nothing to do about it. And Patriots played Buffalo twice, and, it was even money. Yeah. I do think they were the best team in the AFC this year. I didn't see it coming. I didn't pick them to cover any of their playoff games. I thought they were going to lose to Denver. But I do think we got the right Super Bowl this year. I don't always think we get the right Super Bowl. I think it's not rare, but it is more often than not the best two teams, the best team from each conference, doesn't usually make it to the Super Bowl, particularly since they've eliminated the double byes and there's been a little more variance involved. But I do think we got the right two teams in this game. I do think that.
Coming up in 2 Mondays, did the Patriots really win the Super Bowl? Should they give Mike McDonald the trophy? Since when you think about it, really, when you look at the yardage numbers, you take out a field goal.
Thanks for hanging out with Frenemies. We go to the NBA. There are reports out of the Bucks camp that Giannis is looking to get out of Milwaukee. And, of course, there are some big-time suitors, the Heat, the Timberwolves, the Knicks, the Warriors, among many teams that will have interest in the two-time MVP. The trade deadline in the NBA, 1 week from today, 3 o'clock Eastern. Giannis hasn't played since the Bucks lost to the Nuggets on January 23rd with his calf injury. So, Nick, among those teams or others, where do you want to see Giannis go?
All right, let's start with these teams, and then we can kind of open the aperture a bit.
All right.
I think that because I don't think any of these teams are the best place for Giannis, and I don't think any of these teams can make the best offer for Giannis. But I also think the Heat would be a disaster for Giannis. And I don't love it for Milwaukee unless you adore Bam. But I don't
even know that Bam
Well, if Bam wouldn't be in the trade, then it makes no sense for Milwaukee at all. But
Kel'el Ware is a piece that they like a lot. In theory, heroes from Milwaukee, they can trade like 4 firsts.
But it's then Milwaukee. Giannis is just in Milwaukee South. Like the Heat are not after trading for Giannis are not demonstrably closer to a title than Milwaukee. So that to me I would cross off. The Knicks and the Timberwolves have no picks to trade. None. Just a few swaps they can do.
Yep.
So that one doesn't make sense. So of these teams, Danny, the Warriors, I get it. And it would probably be Butler and Kuminga for Giannis, maybe Kuzma because for salary reasons, and then all the picks. Just send all the picks. And I support that for the Warriors because if you have one of the 15 greatest players in the history of the sport and he's still really good, you should be all in every year.
Yep.
So you keep going for it with Steph, 2030 be damned. But I don't love it because I don't think Steph, Giannis, Draymond is a title team. I think it'd be fun. I think they'd be better than they are now, but I don't think it's a title team. And so I don't love any of these. I don't know where you land on it before we get to other teams.
So, listen, the basketball romantic in me hopes that Milwaukee and Giannis figure it out. I have one possible thing in the back of my mind where it could happen. It probably won't. Of those teams, I think it is very exciting to dream about Giannis and Steph playing together and Giannis and Ant playing together. The Warriors have more that they can offer. The Timberwolves would have to do, like the draft picks would have to be players. They would have to trade like Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, right? So like Milwaukee would not be getting the draft capital back. So I assume they're not going to want to do that. So I don't love any of these teams either, though the basketball fit that is the most interesting is Steph and Giannis playing together. But I will say this just to pivot it for a second, and I know you have trades for teams outside of this. Milwaukee shouldn't do this now. They should wait. And it will be bad for discussion, and it might get a little awkward, and Giannis might have to really be the bad guy, which he doesn't seem to want to be, and publicly demand a trade if this is going to happen in the next week. But this is said to be one of the great NBA drafts in terms of depth in history, right? You got the kid from BYU, DeBansta. You got Darren Peterson at Kansas. You got Boozer's kid at Duke. It's an unbelievable draft. You should wait. You should figure out where you are drafting because you have the worst of 2 picks between New Orleans and Milwaukee's. So if I'm running Milwaukee, I'm holding Giannis out. They've got.
So you're not trading him and you're not playing him?
Correct. Listen, I know. You've won 3 games without him. You could be the worst team in the NBA without Giannis the rest of the way.
Sure.
New Orleans is arguably the worst team in the NBA.
Yes.
So those 2 picks could be, you could have the worst of the 2 picks, could still be a top 5 pick in a loaded draft. And then you can say to Giannis, all right, we can trade that pick, which is very valuable, to get another star to come here if you want to stay in Milwaukee, or we can trade you to load up on assets after the lottery when we know where we can build around this. Because I think all of these names that people are throwing out, and you can do your trades if you want, it's not enough. Like it's like the players that I've seen mentioned for Giannis, like if VJ Edgecombe becomes available from Philly, that's interesting. Like a young all-star caliber player. If Jalen Williams is available from the Thunder, that's interesting. But most of these guys, you're talking about 60 cents on the dollar for Giannis.
Well, but if you wait until this summer, then this is where I really disagree with you. You wait until this summer, he really does get to pick where he goes. Because if you trade him now, the team trading for him gets this playoff run with him and the next one. You wait for this summer, he's an expiring contract. And
he's got 1 year left plus a player option.
Right, which he would obviously decline. And so that to me is a very risky game. The reason I like, if we throw up the Atlanta trade just real quick, the reason I like this trade is Giannis gets to stay out east. I think that team could be a sneaky contender in the East, and Milwaukee gets their picks back. So
that would help.
To your point, they would in this year's draft have their own pick and the New Orleans pick because they already have the worst of those 2, and Atlanta has the better of those 2. And next year they would have their own pick back because Atlanta has that already.
I just think that's flatly not enough. I don't think it's particularly close to being enough for what Giannis is still at this point, a top 4 player in the NBA.
So why do you not want them to trade him?
Well, listen, part of it is the basketball romantic in me of being Dirk, being Duncan, being Kobe, and playing for one franchise the entire time. And if you're going to have a top 5 pick, we'll see what Hollins becomes over the course of this year, Giannis, and what a new coach, and what else you can do. There is something to him being there his whole time. And call his bluff. Make him be the bad guy. He doesn't seem to want to be.
No, you keep saying the basketball romantic in you. Doesn't the basketball fan in you want to see Giannis play in big games?
Yeah, but I mean, listen, a healthy Giannis, things have not worked out with injuries for them at the wrong time in playoff series.
Yes.
And they now don't have a lot of assets, and so they are in trouble. But they are. But if he's not going to demand a trade, okay.
The best thing for the Milwaukee Bucks is to trade Giannis. That's where their contention window is over. And where Duncan was a Spur forever, but Duncan,
he won a bunch. I understand.
Right, and they won a bunch, and they were awesome late in his career.
Yeah.
Kobe was a Laker forever. It got tenuous a number of times, but they won 5 titles before it went sour. And Dirk, they won his title late. Giannis has so much prime left, and they went all in 3 times to build a contender. They
Lillard,
won one
Holiday.
Championship, and then Miles Turner.
Yeah.
As a final.
Stretch, yeah.
And so but when you're saying that's not enough, that New Orleans pick, it is right now about as valuable of an asset in and of itself as Giannis is to the league. I don't think you
got to know where it lands.
I don't think they are going to get it seems like what you're describing is the type of haul. Who's the last player to go for what Anthony Davis went for?
Yeah.
I don't think those trades exist anymore.
I think he's a unique talent, and because of how long I do think he has left in his prime, you need to be asking for young, all-star caliber talent, and every draft pick and every pick swap. There should be 4 pick swaps added into that.
But what are I guess I don't know the team that threads the needle of Giannis would be interested in going there. They have that player. They would be contenders without that player, and they have their draft picks.
Well, I just
don't. But the Thunder, the Thunder would have to really have a bad playoff run, and then it could be available, and it obviously would have to be this offseason.
Let's get to the NFL. The Eagles are still looking to fill their offensive coordinator role. Kevin Patullo was fired now 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago. Reports from Adam Schefter say that if they can't find an OC, Nick Sirianni will take over the play calling. Nick, what do you make of the fact that this job is still open?
I mean, it's an indictment. Eagles fans, you're never going to like me. It's fine. Leave me alone when I'm playing poker in Philly, and with no hard feelings.
It's becoming a two-way thing with you and him, too.
It's an indictment on your head coach or your quarterback. Maybe both, certainly at least one of them. My read on it is this has a lot less to do with Jalen Hurts and a lot more to do with the lack of job security for Nick Sirianni. I think that the best offensive coordinator candidates think that head coach might be fired in 12 months, and then I'm fired in 12 months, so I don't want the job. I think that because a team with this much talent, with much, it's one of the most prestigious franchises in the league. The team spent a ton of money, great ownership, great GM, and you get to call plays. It's not one offensive coordinator job like the Broncos one's about to be, where it's like you're the offensive coordinator, but what is that? Not that it doesn't matter, but you don't get to do the coolest part in calling the plays. It has all of that. And the fact that they can't land a guy means either people have questions about Hurts, or more likely, I think they have questions about Nick Sirianni. Is Nick Sirianni almost a lame duck coach?
So being a successful coordinator for Nick Sirianni has been pretty good. For how little he's been in the league as a head coach, Brew talked about all of his success earlier. He's also launched 3 head coaching jobs, right? Kellen Moore,
Yes.
Shane Steichen, Jonathan Gannon. So the flip side of that is go to Philly, there's a ton of talent, you're empowered, you could be a head coach and start making 8 figures a year to coach. So they'll fill it if they want to. If I'm Philly, what would scare me about this is Nick Sirianni is on the record, and sure, he could have improved at this in the last couple of years, but like the idea that Nick Sirianni will just take over calling plays, that's not a good idea.
No.
But he himself, we use his own words, when he gave up the play calling duties, he talked about what I noticed was I wasn't communicating enough with my coaches.
Well, hold on. This is perfect timing.
No.
The Eagles have hired an offensive coordinator.
Oh, okay. It is a play caller?
It is Packers quarterbacks coach Sean Mannion.
Yeah, Zach Berman was writing about him as a guy that they were focusing in on. Okay.
Okay, so listen. Sirianni is not going to call plays, I would imagine, which is
not.
good. It also, to me, I don't know. I'm not going to act like I've done a ton of Sean Mannion research, but we know the guys who were interviewing for head coaching jobs as OCs or promotions there, the Davis Webb types that's like, I might get a head coaching gig or a bigger offensive coordinator job from being the quarterback's coach. I listed yesterday 12 people the Eagles had talked to be offensive coordinator. Sean Mannion was not one of them. Now, one way to look at it is we are thorough. You know what I mean? Another way to look at it is Brian Dable said, I'd rather go to Tennessee with Robert Saleh and Cam Ward, which did happen.
And we know that Mike McDaniel
would rather go to
L.A.
Your guy.
Right, to L.A. He took himself out of the Tampa job and the Philly job. For Mannion, he gets to call plays, right?
Yes.
He was under Matt LaFleur, good offense to be under, and go there. And yeah, Nick Sirianni, he has had a lot of success being the CEO type coach, right? I do not think you want him bogged down in calling plays. So hey, they filled the job.
So they filled the job. All it took was they were like, listen, if they're doing frenemies on this, we've got to announce it.
We're not that toxic.
Right. We have to announce it. The news broke 90 seconds ago. So there you go. While we were doing
all right, well, great.
Perfect.
We always have breaking news on the OT.
Yeah, there you go.
Parsons
that 5 o'clock Eastern hour is key for big breaking news. That's 100% true.
They trust us to handle it here. And as soon as we do, we'll bring out Willie Colon and Greg Jennings to discuss. Nick, another winning edition of Frenemies for Maine. Thank you, sir. All right, we got Greg Jennings and Willie Colon out here on the OT. We go to Denver. Broncos head coach Sean Payton took to the podium on Tuesday. He spoke about Bo Nix's ankle injury. He suggested it was due to a predisposed condition, and it was a matter of when, not if, that ankle was going to fracture. Interesting thing for a coach to say. Bo Nix would not describe it as interesting. He was not thrilled about his coach airing out what he said is not exactly accurate information on his medical history. Take a listen.
Nothing predisposed, nothing that was there originally. I might have gotten confused, but it's just a simple step with my foot up in the air. My body weight came down on it, sort of got twisted up, and was just one of those missteps. And didn't have any predisposed issues. Man, my ankles were feeling really good. I don't think he really should share how many surgeries I've had in the past, to be honest with you, because he doesn't really even know that.
So obviously, you guys are the players. You've dealt with injuries. You've dealt with coaches. I'll just tell you, as someone who's covered this stuff for a long time, this is very abnormal. Coaches go out of their way to say as little as possible about injuries. And Sean Payton's a Parcells guy, which is a Belichick guy. So even on the spectrum of sharing things, they're supposed to be really quiet about this.
Sure.
And it even struck me as a little strange when Sean Payton came out after the divisional round game when they said that Bo Nix broke his ankle. If you remember, I had him pull the clip because he was transparent that Bo Nix was out for the season, but then he also shared this little tidbit. Take a listen.
He said he had one in high school, and then he said he had one at Auburn. And I said, I didn't realize that. I said, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have drafted you.
Nervous chuckles there. I assume that's a full-blown joke because teams know they're draft picks' medical history.
Yeah. They know everything about you.
Right, they know everything. But, like, am I reading this incorrectly? Bo Nix has a legitimate gripe here, does he not?
Okay.
Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, because I'm going to ask you if I'm wrong. Because, yes, coaches do protect their players. But I just don't see the crime in it. Sean Payton has always historically been a straight shooter.
Yeah.
I think the crime is only warranted if he knew this was a sensitive issue for Bo Nix. Meaning, like, hey, if Bo's ankle was an issue in high school and college and now the pros, and Bo's like, man, I don't want this out. I don't want this thing, this thing about me. Let's keep it hush-hush. And Sean Payton violated that? Sure. But if he's just talking, which he has done in the past of being kind of just free of the mouth and
he's a talker.
Right, and not being logically thinking about the impact of what he's saying, I don't see the crime. I wouldn't take it as like a knock against me. Like, it doesn't. I don't think the defenses are going to now target Bo Nix's ankle. I don't think it's a situation where it hinders his play. He's going to be back. He's going to be ready for the start of next season. So I think it was more of an old man, nevertheless, speaking freely. I don't think it's like a knock or something, a long-term plan of eventually getting rid of Bo Nix for whatever reason because this ankle could hinder him winning in the Super Bowl. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. Am I wrong for thinking in those terms?
I have a response, but you go ahead.
So what I would say in defense of Bo, like, Coach, like, you know how this league works. The optics aren't great if you continue to elude that, man, this is just one of the same ankles that I hurt in high school, then I hurt again in college, and then now again. It's like, well, the idea of him being a injury risk moving forward hurts me when I sit down for the most important contract of my career.
That's totally understand it.
Like, that's where I feel like Bo is like, come on, what? Okay, I broke my ankle. It is what it is. I'm in the building. I'm going to rehab. I'll get back. I haven't missed any time as a starter. Like, what are we doing? You're divulging too much information. It's a need-to-know basis. And you as a head coach, you harp on that to us. You've been in a lot. You know how it works.
Yeah.
Don't speak on another player's.
Stay out of his wallet.
Don't speak on another player's contract situation, injuries. Because if they want to speak on it, that's one thing. But if I'm speaking on it, why am I speaking out of the side of my mouth? It's not me. So Bo has every right to step up and say, no, that's not it, man.
Now, so if Bo Nix after next year, can only negotiate with one team, and it is the Broncos. So even if Sean Payton knew this, kept it in-house, they could still use it against Bo Nix privately in contract negotiations. But publicly, like, if he broke his ankle in high school, college, and the pros, and he says, I'll be back in 4 to 6 weeks, I would definitely have some concerns about paying Bo Nix.
But to your point, you already know this is a thing. This is already his type of situation.
But I didn't. Like Sean Payton maybe did. Like the Broncos general manager and their medical staff maybe. But
if he had a chronic issue, the building knows about it. They just didn't talk about it until Sean Payton released it.
Yes, but to your point, no one else really is going to even try to search through for that information. If he's balling, he's lost in the wild card round and now in the championship game. Well, he didn't get a chance to play, but he got his team to a championship game. Yeah. And so next year, we don't know what happens. Mm-hmm. But say he continues to trend in the right direction, be a decent player.
I mean, he's looking at $300 million.
And it's not the Broncos. The other 31 teams aren't going to be like, well, wait, let's see your history. I remember when you came out, you had an ankle injury. No, what they're going to do, though, is remember what Sean Payton just did and said. And so that's where I feel like it hurts. But as a player, you're going to always defend because we're labeled and deemed something always to knock the value of what our earnings should be.
Now, I get the aspect. You don't want your coach sitting up there acting as WebMD, right? I get that. But nevertheless, I feel like it doesn't hinder you from still doing your job if you're telling everybody you're going to be ready to go. If anything, this is motivation to show that I'm the man for the job and I can produce and move forward within my career. So I don't know. I didn't see the crime in it. It sounded like a coach that was just speaking freely. Obviously, I totally acknowledge your point. You don't hurt my money by kind of putting a red tag on me.
And listen, if he's really going to be back in 4 to 6 weeks, there's a lot of time for Sean Payton and Bo Nix to mend this fence between mini camps and OTAs in August and training camp and all that. But I was I was shocked. I was like,
because it was unnecessary.
Well, I was shocked he called his own presser. I don't know what player has that access. I know I never had that.
I mean, he's like, I want to right this wrong. My ankles are not fragile. I'll be back. Like, that was breaking news after your team gets eliminated. Got a new offensive coordinator in Philly. We discuss on the OT. We have breaking news out of Philadelphia. The Eagles have an offensive coordinator, and it is Packers quarterback coach Sean Mannion. Just 2 years removed from an 9-year career, in the NFL, former third-round pick by the Rams. He played under Sean McVay, played under Kevin O'Connell, also Kevin Stefanski and Clint Kubiak. Highly thought of offensive mind in Green Bay. Never called plays and just 33 years old. What do you think, Greg? You like the hire?
So it's an interesting hire. Obviously, for Sean, this is a great opportunity. When you're looking at what he has to work with, quarterback and Jalen Hurts needs to be a little bit more efficient. That's kind of the coaching point of emphasis, if you will, when you look at Jordan Love, Malik Willis, and their ability to kind of thrive and develop and be efficient. They both were, so you kind of expect that to carry over. You just don't know what you're going to get in terms of how he's going to approach play calling because he's never really done it. But you're excited about it if you are Sean. And
what a come up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing what it ends up being because he has a clean slate. He's never done it before. He has a coach that's going to support him that has called plays before in Sirianni. So we'll see how it turns out.
Wasn't that a knock on Kevin Patullo?
Yeah, I never called plays.
So why? So we hired the same guy?
Younger.
Is that where we're at? Like, how? If you're Jalen Hurts, this is about evolving an offense that was ranked 19th, and prior to that, you won a Super Bowl. The issue right now outside of this offensive line is getting Jalen Hurts comfortable within a system that he can grow within. This does nothing for the Eagles. This is a bad hire.
Well, listen, he's never done it before. What could go wrong? A 33-year-old who's never done it before in Philly. I'm sure they'll have patience. It'll be fine.